Good morning, pop culture. We are live. It is October the 5th, 2018. James Bond Day. Yeah, I didn't realize 007 had his own day, but hey, I'm glad it's in October, and I'm glad it's today, because it gives us an excuse to talk about the world's greatest fictional spy, the future of the franchise, the past of the franchise, for just a little moment. We also have to talk about some new Star Wars, The Mandalorian news in terms of directors. It seems that Jon Favreau isn't the only one who will have his name attached as director, which could be good or bad depending on a certain point of view. Well, from my point of view, I want it all Favreau all the time, but let's not discredit the other possibilities of these shows being truly great. So it's 7:54 in the morning, so you're probably on your way to work if you're on the East Coast, or it's 4:54 in the morning, so you're probably up super, super early on the West Coast. But no matter what you're doing, thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Pop Culture. Sorry, I was trying to give you some future Star Wars content in the morning. We already had a super chat from Cesario Japan. Says, how do you do, fellow Muff Daddy? Well, thank you, Cesario Japan, for calling me Muff Daddy. For those who aren't in the know, unlike Cesario Japan, who is in the know, Muff Daddy was the silly, crazy rap name that was given to me last night on World Class Bullshitters, which I have now thankfully, graciously accepted. So there's Mr. Shitter, there's King Muff, and there's Muff Daddy. So those are names that I will always answer to here on the channel. So thank you, Cesario Japan. So we got quite a bit ways to wait till everyone rolls in to start the show, but that's okay. Good morning to everyone that's out there. It's Friday, the end of the week. We don't have any streams tonight because I'll be busy, and then tomorrow I'm also busy. So no streams this weekend, but if you're a patron, you're going to get a commentary for They Live, the 1988 classic by John Carpenter, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper. So for all those wondering about last night, we had technical issues. During the show, my computer just froze up, and I was not able to get on the end of the show. So if you're listening to the replay and you wonder what the hell happens to me, maybe Dion and the other guys explained it. I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. But I do know Dion's talking about Stephen King and a mountain of cocaine, and then the show just ended like that. So that wasn't the initial ending that was planned for the show. So if you listen to the Podbean edition or the streaming version, wherever you find it, you will be, and your super chats weren't read by me. I read them, I answer them, and I thank you. So just to let everyone know, I did not forget about you. Just had some technical issues, and we worked through them. But it's also October. We're getting closer and closer to Halloween. So while we wait, let's take a quick look at this Halloween list so everyone has a chance to check out the movie list so they can go grab a copy of their favorite horror film and see what time we're watching it on the channel, and they can join us. So it's an all-day thing. So if you're off on Wednesday, make sure you join us, because you're going to regret not joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be Nick, it'll be Kendo, it'll be myself. Dion will join us a little later when he gets home from work. But we will be watching these movies right here, so I can get the list pulled up for you. And, it'll be a fun day. We'll be day drinking. We'll be having some good food. We'll have some trivia, some Joe Bob Briggs style drive-in, totals and stuff like that. So you got a lot to look forward to this Halloween, because it's Wednesday. You may not be going out. You may be going out the weekend before, like me, the weekend after, like me. So this is just your opportunity to spend some time with us if you have some free time. So here you go. Here is the list of the films for our Halloween extravaganza. So we're starting out at a strict 10 a.m. We have Cabin Fever, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Ernest Scared Stupid, Sorority House Massacre 2, Creepshow, Zombieland, Halloween, 1978, of course, and Maximum Overdrive. Now, Maximum Overdrive was voted on by the fans. What we did is we put out a thing, a feeler that says, name a horror movie that you guys would like to watch on Halloween with us, and the only movie that had 2 votes was Maximum Overdrive. So there you are. So, folks, that is how we determine the list. The other ones are made up of choices of Kendo, Nick, and myself. Dion, again, was not available, so he did not partake in the list. But that is it. So, okay, so Kendo did talk about the technical difficulties. Good. He's good for something, finally, Kendo. Well, we got a little, again, we're at 93 viewers, so kind of a slow start to the morning. I guess I didn't put the word Star Wars in the title. Maybe I'll just show a picture of Star Wars and people will start clicking on. We did not watch The Last Jedi because we like to watch horror movies, not horrible movies. But if you guys want to watch The Last Jedi, it's on Netflix. I don't suggest you watch it. But, hey, if you're into some weird stuff, I'm not here to kink shame. That's what I've learned from Dion this year, guys. Do not kink shame. So if you get off on watching The Last Jedi, well, I won't kink shame you. I just won't ever have you on the show either. But yeah, that Mandalorian image last night we said on the podcast looked pretty decent. It wasn't the negative shit show that you would expect when we see something from Disney Star Wars, because it wasn't the same old shit from a Disney Star Wars film. It wasn't bad. It was just better than expected. So it looks like people aren't getting the notifications out there, so that could be the problem. I tweeted this out. I told everybody we're going live, but for some reason, YouTube just likes to take us to the drive-thru and fuck us. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you so very much. I guess I'll have to, take it up with management later. So, I guess this James Bond Day thing caught me by surprise because I was up doing my morning ritual, making the coffee, all that stuff, and I thought to myself, been a Bond fan for most of my life, about as long as I've been a Star Wars fan, and I guess I would say I've been more consistent James Bond fan. There's only been a small period of time where I fell out of love with the character based on Daniel Craig. It wasn't because of the classic James Bond movies. And I look back and I'm thinking, how did my see, some people say, oh, my love affair with this property. Well, I don't want to say my love affair with James Bond, because that seems just not to suit me. It's kind of like, oh, you love James Bond? Oh, why don't you marry him? Oh, he married his wife and she got shot and I don't want to get shot. You see, you could make light of the situation. But hey, that's all right. But no, I've been a Bond fan since, let's say, 96. So roughly around the same time I became a Star Wars fan. And Bond, the difference between Star Wars and Bond for me is that James Bond movies were just that, movies. You could get very little merchandise, maybe a t-shirt, maybe some posters. It wasn't until I was in the 8th grade that you could actually get action figures that moved. I take that back. I was in the 3rd grade. They had these really, really shitty James Bond action figures. So those weren't anything to write home about. They were embarrassingly bad. So we bought them. I had Elliot Carter, I had Waylon, and I had James Bond in his naval outfit. But the naval outfit had the hat sculpted to his head, so I couldn't play with James Bond unless he was in the Navy. And I wanted James Bond in a tuxedo, but I didn't get that until later. But I honestly feel the reason why Star Wars kind of blew past 007 in the beginning was just there was so much Star Wars to consume. There was toys, video games. There were the toys, video games, merchandise, all that stuff out there. I didn't really have any Star Wars shirts until we went to Disney in 97. Yeah, 97. So I didn't have any Disney or Star Wars shirts until then. The first one I ever got was a Han Solo Disney World shirt. It was green, and he was like busting out, shooting a stormtrooper. Pretty cool shirt. I think I still have it in the basement somewhere. But Bond had always been something we would rent and watch. And I remember going to the local video store, the shitty one, not Blockbuster, the independently owned one, because old movies were just $1 to rent. So that meant all the James Bond movies were $1 to rent. So we'd go, and the first one I ever saw was Goldfinger. Take it back. I saw Goldeneye when we rented it when it was new, but I fell asleep. Then the first one I ever rented on my own was Goldfinger. I was told it was a good place to start, and it was. Goldfinger was one of those movies that I saw and I watched again and again and again, and I was excited by it, and I still do enjoy it to this day. But I do find it to be highly overrated. But once we got past that hump, I started watching other Roger Moore movies, other Connery films. Basically, to the best of my knowledge, I remember liking Goldfinger, Goldeneye, and Tomorrow Never Dies a lot as a kid. And the other ones were great, but I just don't remember watching them regularly. I remember one of the last ones I ever saw was From Russia with Love, and became my favorite. But it's been something that's been with me a long time. I am passionate about it. I do have strong opinions on Daniel Craig, the theme songs and stuff like that. But if I was just like, it's okay, that means I don't really like it underneath it all. If I'm willing to fight for it, if I'm willing to have strong opinions, to look into the history, into the lore, all these things, it truly means that I care about a franchise. So that's how I feel about 007. I do care. That's why I get angry when we have delays and all this other crap. It's not like we're having delays for a better movie, because for the last 10 years, we've had pretty much the same Bond flick with a different coat of paint. I'm tired of Daniel Craig. I'm tired of the producers, Paul Haggis, and the other guy that write the scripts. I'm tired of them too. Neil Purvis and something Wade, I guess. My point is, I'm just tired of everyone involved. We need, a fresh start. Bring back Martin Campbell, because he's always great at firsts, and give us a new Bond. Give us Henry Cavill. Give us somebody exciting. The video store was not any of those listed. It was just like some mom and pop shop. We'll call it mom and pop video. And it was a POS store. Oh, there's American Trent 007. I should have called you on the show, man. Since you have changed your name from the original Trent 421 to this 007 in honor of our favorite fictional hero. But that was just a nice look back. I mean, in the chat, tell me your favorite Bond flick. Mine's GoldenEye. Always has been, always will be. I love the game, but the game does not dictate my love of the movie. A lot of people online that dislike the film, when they have the discussion about GoldenEye, oh, you only like it because of the movie, no, or the game. No, I like the movie just fine. I don't really. I mean, the video game is my favorite video game as well, but I like them independently of each other. It's nice to be able to watch the movie than play the game, but I watched the movie years before I ever had a Nintendo 64, and I liked it back then as well. Reed Palancha, thank you very much for your super chat. I like the early films mostly. Thunderball was perhaps my favorite. Glad to see you again. Well, glad to see you too, Reed Palancha. Happy to be seen. Thunderball is Dion's favorite James Bond flick. It's one of my favorites as well. I think it has the best looking Bond girls. Just Domino, Fiona Volpe. And then it's got one of the best puns ever when he shoots the guy with the spear gun. He goes, I think he got the point. Again, hokey one-liners from Sean Connery, but they're great. But the early ones are magic. The first 4 in a row are just, I wouldn't change anything about them. Thunderball is slightly long, but it does, add to the story, to the build. So I do like Thunderball for what it is. Love it for what it is. You only live twice. We do get the first hiccup. Then we get On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is fantastic. Maybe the best Bond flick. Who knows? Depending on who you talk to. Then you got A Diamonds Are Forever, which is terrible. And then we build our way up to Live and Let Die, down to The Man with the Golden Gun, up with The Spy Who Loved Me, down with Moonraker, up with For Your Eyes Only, down with Octopussy, up with A View to a Kill, and that's the end of the Roger Moore era. So as you can see, it's just an up, down, up, down, up, down graph. I think Roger Moore is the most consistent yet inconsistent James Bond. His Bond was the same through all the films, but the films themselves they ranged from blaxploitation to 80s cheesy action flick. Now, some of those things are great, but when you get to your weird space movie, but most of it takes place in the Amazon or South America, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. But Never Say Never Again, which came out the same year as Octopussy, was a terrible, terrible Bond flick. I own it. Directed by Irvin Kershner, the man who helped make The Empire Strikes Back so great. But he couldn't do it for Bond. And RoboCop 2, I don't know about that one. So we had a pretty bad 80s for James Bond. Then Dalton closed it up with License to Kill. But first he did Living Daylights, which I think is one of the best ones. And then we move on to the Brosnan era, which is the modern era of Bond. It was successful. It was good for the most part. And now we have Craig, and it feels a little drawn out and, again, a little dated. I feel like the longer the same actor plays Bond and the more the producers kowtow to that actor's will, the further from relevancy James Bond falls. And what do I mean by that? Well, in the 1980s, Roger Moore was not the premier action star. You had Schwarzenegger, you had Stallone at the end of the decade, you had Bruce Willis, you had Carl Weathers action, you had Harrison Ford kicking ass as Indiana Jones. You had about 15 alternatives to James Bond. And then in the 90s, when Bond came back, it felt new, it felt fresh, it felt exciting. You didn't really have too much competition. The Bond movies were big events again. And now we're in an era where the Mission Impossible flicks are much more James Bond-like than James Bond. James Bond has become boring, stale, stagnant. And yes, I'm saying this about my favorite thing on its recognized global James Bond Day. But now we're at a point where Mission Impossible has the big set pieces, the fun, the craziness. They're long too, but you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. The political intrigue, the international espionage, all that fun stuff is there with Mission Impossible. James Bond is still focused on hard drives, mommy issues. I can't get over Vesper. You ruined the character. I know they say, oh, we've got a depth to him. We've done this, we've done that. You've taken away what made the franchise special. Fun, exciting action. Reed Palancha, thank you very much for another super chat. He says, I remember playing paper and pen RPG Top Secret where you could act out James Bond missions. I went through heaps of fate points to do Bond missions. Happy memories. I have heard about, there is a James Bond RPG series that I looked into buying because I do love to. I'm one of those people, if I go out to like a bookstore or anywhere that sells James Bond stuff that's not the movies, I'll buy it. So, oh my God, James Bond playing cards, buying it. A book on Bond, buying it. A comic book from Bond, buying it. All that stuff. I've never owned the RPG stuff, but there is an officially licensed RPG James Bond series from the 80s, and I've never heard of the pen and paper RPG game Top Secret. But maybe it's the same thing. Maybe I'm just, I don't realize the proper name. But that sounds fun. I, too, would waste my fate points to play as James Bond. See, that's one thing that's nice about, what used to be nice about Bond. It was kind of like the ultimate male fantasy type of thing, where now we live in a society where it's not, acceptable for those kind of characters to exist. That's why I'm advocating for that. They just stop making Bond movies after 25, because I'd rather not see James Bond than watch him become something terrible. And I really don't like Daniel Craig to be the last one, but fuck it. I hope, his wife gets pregnant again. He decides to step away from the role for the next movie, and Henry Cavill rolls in at Bond 25. New director, new Bond, new everything, new direction for the franchise, and we get something exciting. Oh, I didn't forget the Bond villains. There are great ones. There are a lot of bad ones too. But I mean, Dr. No's great. Red Grant, Goldfinger. Largo's kind of hokey. Blofeld's nice, but still kind of hokey, depending on who plays Blofeld. If it's Telly Savalas Blofeld, it's great. If it's Charles Gray Blofeld, it's stupid. Throughout the 70s, you had some good and some bad ones. I mean, Jaws as a henchman, he was awesome. But remember, he worked for two really weak villains. He worked for Stromberg, who sucked, and he also worked for Drax. Not the Destroyer, but Hugo Drax, and he also sucked. And then we had Hugo Drax looks like Mundane Matt with more hair. Look him up. And then we had the 80s, which, Christopher Walken was great. But we get kind of forgettable villains after the early Connery run. And then Trevelyan is memorable for all the right reasons. Then you have Elliot Carver, who I like. And then you have people like Renard and... what's his name? Gustav Graves, who are just generic white dudes. There's not too many. And then Lashif, the only thing that's memorable to me about him is that his eye bled when he would play. And, in Silva, the thing is, the guy from Skyfall is essentially the Joker. That's why a lot of people have problems with the film Skyfall. Because they basically just ripped off the Dark Knight. James Bond's a little too dated now. They're trying to be the Dark Knight when they really need to be... Mission Impossible again, or something like that. It needs to be crazy Bond action. Were there any James Bond rides? Yeah, actually there was. There was here in town at Kings Island. There was a thing called James Bond License to Thrill. It was a like a 4D experience where you're in the chairs that moved, and it was cool too because it was first person like the game GoldenEye. So it was like a giant game of GoldenEye on the screen, and it was neat. They had the Tomorrow Never Dies motorcycle outside of it, and it played the James Bond music and all this stuff. I would kill to go back in time and re-ride that ride. It was so much fun. But they replaced it with SpongeBob. Yeah. SpongeBob beat James Bond. So, yeah, 007 Day. Guys, what are you going to do to celebrate 007 Day? Me, personally, I'm going to, I don't know, maybe pop in Dr. No or something. See where it began. Maybe watch Spectre afterwards, see where it ended, how it ends. It's such a bittersweet thing. Had this show existed in 2002, at this time of the year, before Die Another Day had come out, I would be riding the Bond wave hard. I'd be like, yes, we've had the last three that were awesome. The next one's going to be great. Pierce Brosnan, blah, blah, blah. And then I was disappointed. Oh, it's funny how life is. You get so excited for something and it disappoints you. But in the case of Bond, I've been able to pick myself back up and move to other Bond flicks. For as bad as I feel about the new stuff, there's always 20 other Bond films that are great or pretty good that can help me get through the times. Unlike Star Wars, where the thing is, in the Bond flicks, James Bond, maybe the movies are weaker, but overall, James Bond's still, coming up on top. With these new Star Wars movies, all the characters that people like to actually pay to go see get turned into jokes, and then we're berated online. Well, it's time for Luke to die. He's old. Fuck off. Oh, you're going to bust out your Blu-ray box set. I should do that too. I'm looking at it right now. It's got in front of it, or actually it's stacked on top of all the novels. I got one with a silencer, one without, and then a Sean Connery doll. Yeah, a doll. He's in his tuxedo. Ooh, Trent and Pete, you have the best answers. A James Bond crossover with Back to the Future. That'd be weird. Because 1985, James Bond was Roger Moore. Man, Marty McFly would smoke him in terms of cool points. Roger Moore would probably just shoot him, though. The Bond girls have had a drop in quality. Yeah, I think because Barbara Broccoli is worried about being sexist or offensive or any of that shit. They try to give them more agency to the story. I'm not saying they need to be strictly eye candy or anything like that, but the ones they have aren't very good. They try to give them these elaborate backstories like Olga Krylenko's character. She's the daughter of a general from South America and all this other shit. She's afraid of fire. Like that Quantum of Solace sucks. I know Dion loves to build it up. Oh, it's not that bad, man. You're making it out to be worse than it is. No, Quantum of Solace blows dick. Sorry, Dion. You're not here to defend you. Let's see. Fields was also a pretty shitty Bond girl from that movie. I did like Vesper. She was interesting, good looking, had stuff to do with the plot. Skyfall. Who was the Bond girl in Skyfall? M was the Bond girl in Skyfall, right? What's her name dies. Wow, why am I blanking? Yeah, there really wasn't a traditional Bond girl in Skyfall. There was what's her name from South America, or the French woman. She got kidnapped, or no, she got killed by what's his name, Silva, and that was it. So I can't remember that. And then the one from Spectre was the girl from Mission Impossible, Leah Seydoux, or Seydoux, or however you pronounce it. Monica Bellucci was in Spectre, but she wasn't like the main woman. So I watched Quantum of Solace with my best friend a few years ago. He liked every Bond film I showed him until that one. It is a drop in quality. The messed up part is I saw that. Did I see that twice in theaters? I remember I saw a bootleg of it like the Monday before the movie came out in America. Somebody uploaded an entire rip of it to the internet, so I watched it and I was like, man, this is cool. And then I saw it in theaters that Friday and I liked it. But it's one of those Bond films that I watched because I was so excited, because I thought we were finally over the hump of, oh, he's becoming James Bond in Casino Royale. It's finally time for him to be James Bond in the next one. It's like, nope, he's not yet. No gun barrel, no nothing. It took until Spectre, and now they're going to kill him off. So the hunky chunky funky monkey says Jeff's Muff. He's the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. He's Muff Daddy. When I do the rap song, I'm going to sing it like Will Ferrell is Robert Goulet. Daddy, I love it when you call me Muff Daddy. That'll be my rap song right there, guys. That'll be my rap song. Yes, Monica Bellucci is one of the all-time greats. She is. There's no denying that. No matter what age she's at now, she still looks fantastic. Are there James Bond Hot Toys dolls? Not yet. No, actually, I'm glad you asked that. They decided to go with a third-rate company called Big Chief Studios. And Big Chief Studios did not have the facilities to make the Bond dolls, so they released 3 that Bond looked good, but the production images looked better than the real thing. You get it in your hand. I didn't buy one because I was hesitant, because it was a Goldfinger set. It was Goldfinger, Oddjob, and Bond in his gray suit. And Goldfinger and Oddjob didn't look that good in terms of face sculpt, but Bond was pretty on point. And then you hear people that bought it early. Well, there was a nose rub. There was this. There was that. The body didn't match the suit. So I passed, hard pass on those figures. So if they ever give the license over to Sideshow, I'll be excited to check it out. But until then, I'm not buying them. I do have the James Bond Funko Pops because they were given to me by my mom. So yeah, you talked about the DB5 one. I'm looking at it. I got Bond, the Golden Girl, Jaws, Oddjob, Blofeld. Thanks, Mom. So, one of the all-time greatest. Yeah, so talking about Monica Bellucci, I guess, right? Not a problem with that at all. This is a very boob-friendly channel. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, the franchise started with Dr. No, and now here we are, 24 films later, in an interesting place. I don't know if we're better than where we were 10 years ago. The indecisive nature of the producers could be its downfall. So I think we've covered a lot of Bond stuff. It looks like YouTube's notifications just are never going to let enough people know that we're, live. So let's talk about something else, something that kind of caught my attention as well, maybe for a less than positive reason. And I have something really, really funny to show you guys today. Have you guys ever heard about the Captain America musical? I didn't think so, but you're going to learn about it today here on World Class Bullshitters Good Morning Pop Culture. So let's look at the franchise that everybody seems to want to talk about constantly, us too, Star Wars. Mandalorian TV show sets Taika Waititi and other directors. Now, I'm not trying to sound overly cynical and mean, but when I heard that Jon Favreau was directing Star Wars, was making Star Wars, I assumed that he'd be actually making it, not just producing it, being involved with just a few things. I was hoping against hope that Jon Favreau would be the man that was responsible to oversee the whole thing. But I'm wrong. So now we have learned that Taika Waititi and Bryce Dallas Howard are going to be directing episodes as well, with more people on the way, including Rick Famuyiwa and Deborah Chow. So I don't need deadly seriousness with every moment of Star Wars, but I do like consistency. I'm not a fan of the Netflix style where multiple people direct a TV show. I know people say, but TV show directors don't mean anything. Look at Rian Johnson on Breaking Bad. I get it. But this is a little different. This is supposed to be a Star Wars live-action show with a unified vision and direction. This doesn't scare me. I'm not nervous. I'm just a little deflated because I thought we were going to get, just straight up Jon Favreau Star Wars, not Jon Favreau and Bryce Dallas Howard and Tiki Waititi and Rick and whoever else I said. So there's that for me to be concerned about. I don't necessarily it doesn't turn me off to the show, but it just makes me go, damn it, I was looking for all Favreau all the time, man. Not anymore. See, the thing is, I don't think Bryce Dallas Howard has ever directed. Just because her dad directed stuff and, really great stuff or, good stuff, doesn't mean she's got it in her. Look at Jonathan Kasdan. His dad's one of the most prolific screenwriters in history, and his son is an idiot. Now, the Howard family has not necessarily had the best relationship with Star Wars. I know Ron Howard will be the first person to tell you, I was watching Star Wars, blah, 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 since the beginning. I saw an early cut from George, this, that, and the other. That's great, Ron. But you also made Solo, and Solo, So that Howard family should not touch Star Wars. But if the guy that directed Thor Ragnarok directs this, I expect this show to be tonally inconsistent and dumb. Again, these are Kathleen Kennedy decisions. You need a unified vision. It's not, Star Wars doesn't need to be broken up among many different people. People would argue, but when George Lucas directed the prequels, look what happened. Yeah, but because George didn't have anyone like a Gary Kurtz to keep him in check. Gary Kurtz was responsible for the greatness of the first two Star Wars flicks. Now, George Lucas directed the first one, and I'll argue is the best one. But Gary Kurtz really reined him in. Breaking it up to Irvin Kershner is not necessarily what made Empire as great as it was. I'd say more Gary Kurtz and Irvin Kershner. But you don't need to have 10 different people working on a Star Wars show. If anything, you need to know where you're going to go. Look at the new saga, the sequel saga, the sequel trilogy. You have had, now we're going back to J.J. Abrams, but before they had 3 different directors, and you see how tonally inconsistent as well as narratively inconsistent The Last Jedi is to The Force Awakens. I don't want that with this. I don't want these shows to be, oh man, episode 6 was amazing. It was directed by Favreau. The first 3 were Favreau, and then the next 2 were this person. And it's like, well, the first 3 were amazing. Then it got really weird, and they focused on this junk dealer. And I wanted the main guy, but they were worried on this junk dealer. And then they jumped to this, and they jumped to that. It's, can we not have strong main characters, male or female, with a theme song, and they're the focal point of the story? These serious TV shows, the ones that they want to put on streaming services that have 55 people in the principal cast and all the episodes, there's one episode on this person, one episode on that person. Let's just do one character. It's really not that hard. Let's see, somebody like Spider-Man 3. It's not bad. It's a bad movie, but it's not as bad as what came after it. Thankfully, the main character can't be like Rey because it's a dude. We discussed that. It's that guy from Kingsman, Golden Circle, the bourbon guy with the mustache, the Kmart Burt Reynolds. So he's the main character. Let's hope that he has a set on him and he's not, one-upped by some brand new day one Force user. You know what will be amazing is if he gets talked to and so he's like, well, I'm trained in the Force, blah, 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 and he just shoots him. Boom. There we go. We got a lot of F Batmans, man. That's sad. That's sad to me. I haven't seen the new Daredevil trailer, guys. I had the show last night, and then I went to bed. I stayed up to make sure I could get everything uploaded for after hours and on iTunes and all that stuff for the show. But I did not have a chance to watch the Daredevil, the new one, because I know it's New York Comic Con, and I do plan on covering some of that stuff. New York Comic Con isn't necessarily an event for comics for me. It's an event to see what toys are coming out. So I have a checklist of all the Marvel Legends I need to pick up, including Jubilee, Professor X, Spider-Man and Kraven the Hunter, the 2-pack, all kinds of crazy stuff. So my wallet's going to be hurting thanks to Comic Con. Our friend Justin Bass says, I love Tika as a comedy director and writer. He had zero restraint in Thor. Why are we cracking jokes while Asgard blows up? You see, Justin, I feel the same way about you, but I feel it's taken, now I'm not saying you, but I'm saying in general, it's taken people a while to realize that Thor Ragnarok kind of sucked. Thor in humor does work. but at the same time, this is Asgard, their home planet, or not planet, but their home world, their home realm. Why are they making jokes as it's destroyed? Why are they making jokes as the father dies? This, that, and the other. Get help worked, or the beginning joke kind of worked, but it became too much, especially the stuff with the Hulk. That's why I've gone on record to say that I would rather watch Justice League over Thor Ragnarok, because Thor Ragnarok just left a bad taste in my mouth. It rubbed me the wrong way. I never feel like I need to watch it. The most important part of Thor Ragnarok comes at the beginning of Infinity War. And that's how I feel. Humor is great, but I think that Marvel has overdone it, and now other studios like Lucasfilm look at the success of Marvel, so they try to copy it. Thankfully, Infinity War did tone down the humor. There were lines that were funny, but they worked. The Guardian stuff, they're inherently funny characters. Even Tony, played it cooler once he got onto the ship, because he's like, this is a one-way trip. So he was ready to go and sacrifice himself in an instant. If you listen to that line of dialogue, it's a one-way trip. Talking about Spider-Man. They're talking to Spider-Man. So the Russo brothers, I think, are totally right for a lot of this stuff. Why not have the Russo brothers direct some Star Wars TV? I know they just wrapped up filming for Avengers 4. Why not give them this? People say, but don't you want diversity in your directing style? No, I want a consistently good product for a TV show. I want all the episodes to kick ass. There are TV shows that have consistent seasons. There are TV shows that have inconsistent seasons. And it looks like this Star Wars Mandalorian show may be inconsistent. We'll never know. Yeah, he is an awful choice for Star Wars for me. I don't want to just come in and start ripping on this show, because yesterday, here's the thing. You got to listen to the stuff we put out, all of it, because we talk about everything that comes out as we see it while it's new, and then we give you our take and our stance on it. So this sound right here is me filling up my Keurig, if you're curious to what that noise is. But to jump back to what we're talking about. Yesterday, I was pretty positive about The Mandalorian. I said, you know what, this image looks cool. I like the armor. I am okay with this. I like the guy that's playing The Mandalorian, and I love Jon Favreau. And then now we're getting this. And this is the first little red flag that I like to talk about, the red flag of Star Wars. I'm worried about this. Now, I see people screaming, oh, it'll be better than The Last Jedi. You know what else is better than The Last Jedi? Everything. Name a Star Wars thing that's worse than The Last Jedi. I'll wait, because you can't. So, yes, this will be better than The Last Jedi, but that is a very low bar set by Rian Johnson's very round head. I don't know. Taika Waititi, I think people are in love with him because of Thor. If we have stupid humor in Star Wars, be prepared for people to get upset. But also, be prepared for Disney and these sycophantic idiots that write these articles are going to say, well, it's because the lead is minority. It's like, it's not because the lead's a minority. It's because the show is tonally different than the other episodes, and it makes no sense. Oh, man. Everybody gets so uppity about this stuff. Oh, so you guys don't know who's playing The Mandalorian? Hold on, I'll show you guys after. Billy Ritchie, thank you for your super chat. Billy Ritchie says, Pluto Nash more profitable than Solo. Ooh. We live in a world where Pluto Nash has more respect than Solo, a Star Wars story. At least Pluto Nash can be watched for fun. Solo is like a form of torture in some countries. So let's see. Kingsman 2, Golden Circle. What is the guy's name? It's well, I'd like to. Okay, so Kingsman 2 is a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think the movie's better than they're giving it credit for. Where is he at? Huh. The guy's not listed on IMDb, or not IMDb, on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to IMDb. It's so weird that I have to do this. I was like, oh, he's right here. He's in Kingsman. I know this guy. Bourbon, or whatever his name is. Whiskey. He was cool in that movie. He was the... I don't know how to describe him. I forgot how to hear that movie, too. Well, while we wait, talk amongst yourselves. Today's topic, best James Bond car. Or no, best James Bond theme song. Jeff votes for A View to a Kill. Or I do like, where the hell is this shit at? Wow, this guy is so... Why won't they list him? Is it really that fucking... I'm sorry. This is really hard to... Channing Tatum is tequila, ginger, whiskey. Here we go. Pedro Pascal. Jesus. He had to go to the second page for this guy to be listed. So he's from Santiago, Chile. And let's see if there's a good image to show of him. He was pretty good in Kingsman. So I'm not too worried about the casting. He's old, but that's kind of what we need. I'm going to show you a good picture of this guy, the best one you can find on the internet. He looks like an older Chilean Jeremy Renner. There we go. So this is the man underneath that helmet, reportedly. In 3, 2, 1, boom! There he is, giving you the stink eye. Our friend GrendelFan84, thank you very much, says, I saw Venom last night. Dumpster fires and Baghdad are better. If you don't laugh out loud during the after-credit scene, you've never seen Carrot Top. Is it really that bad? I know a lot of people are like Dion and Nick are trying to come up with excuses why it looks good. I don't want to see it. You know, GrendelFan, we've had our deep talks about comics. I'm going to take your word for it over the word of my best friend, because he's just so optimistic. It might not be that bad. Dude, you probably own a copy of Elektra on DVD, Dion, so no. Man, dumpster fire, though? Dumpster fire. Oh, my God. You could tell me more about it. I wasn't going to see it. I was going to try to see, what was it, Bad Time at the El Royale, something like that, if I have time this weekend. But, man, is Venom going to be a flop? I know the word out there is it's not positive. And what are they going to be able to blame this on? You know, back in the, behind the scenes, Disney really wants this to fail because they want people to think, well, if it's not a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, I just don't want to watch it. And then you go, well, there are good non-MCU flicks before and, up till present, but dumpster fire in Baghdad, Jesus. Oh, man, it almost seems like a spite watch. I hope Mahler goes out and does an hour-long review about it. See how burgery the movie is. Cloud Spiffy, thank you very much. A talk for another time, maybe, but do you know of Mass Effect? I do know of Mass Effect. I played the first game the first day it came out at a friend's room in college, or in a friend's room in college, and then I never played another Mass Effect again. So I'm well aware of the franchise and how it got infused by the SJW nonsense and fell apart. And, well, also because the game was just poorly coded. But I don't dislike the series. I'm just not up on the series, if that makes sense. But, Jeff, don't you think Favreau may still be in the running to step into KK's job? I'd rather have him as head of Lucasfilm than be a good director under bad leadership or KK or otherwise. Well, we don't know yet. I would, believe me, I'd love to have that be the case. Jon Favreau running Lucasfilm, that could be good, but I don't think he's woke enough for Hollywood. Right now, isn't there that new law in California, 50% of women on the board has to be female? I always thought it should be whoever's the best for the job. I've never once went to my dentist and thought, it's a woman. No, I thought, cool, there's my dentist. I mean, I thought that's the world they want to live in. Guess not. But I digress. The Pui says, yeah, morning, Jeff. Well, yeah, morning, the Pui. How you doing, my friend? So there's no video for Mahler on Venom. Damn it. Well, I guess I'll just call the movie Extra Burgery. I don't know. I'll let you guys see it over the weekend, and you can tell me on Monday how bad or how good it was. You can shoot it in an email. Speaking of you guys being involved with the channel, please make sure you guys check out the Our Star Wars thing from the official Star Wars channel. I wanted to do one with our community, so it's your chance to get on, get involved. If you have your own YouTube channel and you got like a T-shirt you want to wear there, that's free advertising. I'm gonna compile a list of these videos, and we're gonna make a series, and I'll put them out for as long as people want to watch them. So if, let's say, hypothetically, 1,000 people respond with, "Hey Jeff, I sent in a video," well, I'll take the number and I'll put them in order. I'll watch like the first 20. And if they're all good, then I'll make one with 10 in there, and then do part 2, and then build. And we can keep this series going on as long as people want. So if you guys really want to get involved with that, you should, get involved with that. When you hit your 40s and 50s, find a petite Asian female proctologist and that sort of small fingers. In that sort of visit, small fingers are your friend. You can thank me later. Oh, John, I'm so glad I'm not at that age yet. I'm still in my 20s for another 16 days, and I'm going to enjoy 16 days of my 20s. An SJW called me a pig as an insult. LOL, pigs are intelligent animals, more intelligent than SJWs. That's all burn, Barbarella Alpha. That's all burn. Oh. So that's our guy, apparently, under the helmet. And I'm fine with that. Han Solo was 35. James Bond's in his 40s. You don't need young 20-somethings. You don't need Tom Holland looking like 12, but legally 20. Stephen Morgan, welcome back. Jeff, you beautiful SOB, how's it going? Didn't think I'd catch a live show for a while, but I am here and I couldn't be happier. Big hello to all the awesome people in the chat. Well, a big hello to our friend Stephen Morgan. Right back at you, man. Glad you're back. YouTube hasn't sent out the notifications, but we're here. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna find a way to beat YouTube at their own game. It's funny too. I did have somebody go out of their way to try to get us copyright strikes on videos from like over a year ago. I'm like, really? You're worried about this Willy Wonka video I made? From now on, it's like be extra vigilant in everything I put out because those crazies are trying to gun for us right now. But Stephen, I'm glad you're back from the UK. So what is it, about 1:39 in the afternoon? So you probably had your lunch. I've just had breakfast, and we're going to have a good day, a good talk. So to celebrate National James Bond Day, Global James Bond Day. Ian Fleming was British, so people consider James Bond the greatest British fictional character, so enjoy him. Well, I try to watch him all the time. Yeah, YouTube. He looks like he could be Chris Pratt's brother. He reminds me of Chilean Jeremy Renner. Chilean Jeremy Renner. That's all I can say. That's what he reminds me of. I should make this picture my new profile. I mean, I can go find a brick wall and sit in front of it and take a photo like this because I look nothing like this, man. Plus, I have a strict rule. Every shirt I wear that's button-up has to have a collar. I can't do collarless button-up shirts. This isn't 1997 anymore. I don't wear jeans and a jean shirt and a turtleneck, Actually, that was like 95. Still, I don't dress like that anymore. I just won't do it. I have standards. My favorite Bond villain is Trevelyan. Yeah. Because he's like the evil James Bond. I also like Red Grant because he's what James Bond could be if he went in the wrong direction. Yes, James Bond is considered the greatest fictional spy by me. I would say he's one of the best fictional characters in general. James Bond's iconic. No matter what they want to try to take away from Bond, they can't. They can't try to feminize him. They can't try to emasculate him. They can't try to modernize him. James Bond will always be the forefront of fictional spies as well as just fictional characters. I mean, he started out in novels. He's in books, comics, cartoons, kind of. James Bond's one of the best. He's nobody does it better. Grendel Fan 84, thank you very much. Issue number 2 of James Bond, Year 1, came out from IDW. Awesome series that's true to World War II origins of the character. Pick it up through Comics Elite. Yes, folks, join the Comics Elite Facebook page because yesterday they had a live video from, I believe, New York Comic-Con. So it's a store that can get all kinds of crazy, awesome comics and stuff like that. It's the kind of store you want to support. Local comic book shops are very important. So don't miss out. Don't let the crazy SJW Marvel scourge prevent you from buying comics, good comics, classic comics. There are some good modern ones out here. Grendel Fan also said the new Venom series is legit, so we'll take his word for that as well because he has good taste. But yeah, pick up comics, Stealing Solo, Cyberfrog, all that stuff. The independent ones are really going to make a big splash in the world of art. more so than you realize. And I sat down with the project yesterday again for many hours, and again, all I can say is I'm so happy that it's become a thing, because at one point, comics aren't for me. I'm going to move on to do other things. Maybe I need this outlet to talk, to be myself, to interact with people, but it is nice to do comics for, to help build the channel financially. So rolling comics out, as long as they're doing well, we'll keep making them, and I'm enjoying it. Like I told you guys, anthology is my ultimate goal, because I'd like to do a quarterly anthology book, and I'd like to have it be drawn differently each story. I would write and draw them myself, but this time I want to do watercolors. This time I want to do black and white. This time I'm feeling inspired by this artist. There's just so many ideas I have, and thankfully with the internet and the fan community that we've built together, and the technology that I have, make that happen. So. Thank you, Richard. You might have standards, but Dion doesn't. Well, Dion has standards. They're just they're low. I love busting my friend. He's hilarious. Hello to everyone that's new. I know we have some people that just joined us, and some people that are sorry. Got a random email from somebody. Wasn't trying to be unprofessional on the air. Well, I have some other YouTuber guests in the future. Yeah, I'm not opposed to having people on. I still want to have Doomcock and Random Game User 42 and a couple other people. I want to get Doomcock and Mahler here on the channel and hear them eviscerate some stuff together. Two of the best voices on the internet. But I do have, every intention of having more YouTubers on. The High Council, it doesn't really work right now because there's so much content to cover, and having one more person just kind of slows the flow of the show. That didn't mean to rhyme, but it did. But yeah, I will have other YouTubers on down the road. For this coming couple weeks, there's really not going to, and the coming month, there really isn't going to be much time. There's going to be some Patreon stuff, but not many other YouTubers. Sorry, I ordered my Halloween costume thing, and they keep asking me questions about it. I'm like, I bought a jacket. Just send me the jacket. It's supposed to be here in like a few days, and if they keep asking me 1,000,001 goddamn questions, it's not going to get here in time. So send it to me now. I paid for it. Oh, you can't wait till Maximum Overdrive. Well, it's going to be, I don't want to say crazy good. It's just going to happen. That's all I can say is it's going to happen. I'm not really looking forward to some of them. I mean, Sorority House Massacre 2, Nick is friends with the director, Jim Wynorski, so that's exciting. And there's boobs in it, so that'll be fun, I guess. Well, the boobs will be fun. The movie, I don't know. But he is my own personal hero. Anyone that puts those kind of things in their film makes me very, very happy. It's funny. Yeah, just sending me what they ordered. Yeah, no, the stream didn't go silent. I just it's this jacket. I'm thinking to myself, Amazon. Have you guys ever ordered from Amazon? Of course you have. It's the biggest thing in the fucking world. Do you get constant emails from Amazon? Did you really want this one? Did you? Yes. I'm not dyslexic. I clicked on the right one. Please just send me the goddamn thing. No more questions. No nothing. This is America. I want what I paid for. It's in stock. Don't question me anymore. Please take your money and please let me go. I'll leave my review in the future. Because it's funny. It's like I've never had this happen. And the more and more I keep getting asked, the more and more I'm like, my usual 5-star review is going to turn into a 3-star. And then, whatever. Because I'm really, really lenient. If I get my shit on time from people, like independent sellers, just 5-star, say, hey, arrived on time, great service, would order from again. Especially on eBay, I do that too. Because I had a little Beverly Hills Cop kick earlier in the year. and everybody got a 5-star review. Everything came perfect. I was happy. So I'm really, really easy on like independent sellers and stuff. I try not to cause people problems because some people are just assholes about stuff like, the shirt slightly was too big. I'm like, well, it's a standard Gildan size. I didn't make the custom t-shirt myself, that type of thing. So I try to treat those people, but this is just annoying. Yes, Kenny Powers, Maximum Overdrive is a Stephen King film directed by Stephen King. It's a terrible movie, but it's a movie that you guys voted on. I've been trying to get a Fallout costume, and it's been a disaster. Finally, Dickie's overalls, some yellow ribbon, and some patches done. Oh, Tim, I think I've seen your photo on the Facebook page. Didn't your son or your child, didn't they make fun of you for the costume, something like that? There's going to be a Scream Factory Maximum Overdrive. Ooh. Well, I did not pick up the Scream Factory one, but I did pick up the Scream Factory Halloween 2 and 3 Blu-ray 4K transfer deluxe edition with the art print and all that fun stuff, because I do want to pick up and support physical media. The idea of, hey, one day it's here, one day it's not with digital management rights, I don't like that. I like, oh man, I'm really in the mood to watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So I go to my shelf, there it is, I pop it in, there's Tucker and Dale versus Evil in glorious 1080p. Hey, college kids, I'm having a good time. Do you know about Doomcock's Tribunal? Will you want to be in it? I don't know. If you could explain it to me, Lokta, what it is, I will gladly be in it. Do I think Avengers 4 will be called Avengers Annihilation? I do not know. I'm not really sure what it's going to be called. It could be called that. I've heard a couple names. I'm not opposed to Avengers Annihilation. I just don't want it to be called, Captain Marvel and the Avengers. If I have a choice to dress for Halloween, I'd go as KK and Ryan Johnson. So, the Great Pumpkin and a witch? Maximum Overdrive features a Spider-Man villain without Spider-Man. Oh, you mean the Green Goblin truck? Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, it's like the High Council. If he tells me what day he records, I would join them if invited. And then I could tell people about it here on this channel. The thing is, for as long as I've been doing this, well, for as big as it's been this year, I've only been on, besides Ethan and Jeremy's channel, like one other channel. So I'm for it. I'm for it 100%. I just, got to get an invite. Have I heard that Captain America might die in Avengers 4? I have. I read Chris Evans' tweet last night on the World Class Bullshitters podcast, and I read it to Dion, and Dion goes, okay. And I said, well, he's dead. I know he's going to be gone. He'll die. Iron Man will retire. Captain Marvel will take his spot. Black Panther will take the spot of Iron Man. Thor will be like, I may not fight with you all the time, but I'll be here sometime. Some shit like that. And then you'll have no more Guardians. And then Spider-Man will be like, I'm an Avenger. Thanks, Spider-Man. Thanks, Spider-Man. So thank you, Darth Tiberius. But those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts with it. Let's see. Tim Riggs says, pardon the normie question, but what's the origin of Captain Marvel's character? Who created it? Why? Never heard of the character before the MCU stuff. You know what, Tim? Don't worry about being a normie. I'll pull that up for you right now. We'll look at the Wikipedia page. She was created in the 70s, and there have been multiple iterations, but this is the Carol Danvers version that they're going for. You know what's nice, though? When you type in Captain, the first thing that pops up on Wikipedia is Captain America. Wait, I typed in Captain Marvel, and I got Shazam. Oops, the real Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, the character, is the fourth choice. There she is. I hate this costume she wears and the haircut. I mean, I know what they're going for. They're trying to make it progressive. But is long hair offensive or something? Whatever. I don't care enough to buy the shit. But I do care enough to critique it. So, Captain Marvel, you want Carol Danvers. Where's she at? Here we go. Carol Danvers is a fictional hero appearing in Marvel comic books published by Marvel Comics, created by Roy Thomas and artist Gene Colan, or Colan, depending on how you want to say it. Danvers first appeared as an officer in the U.S. Air Force and a colleague of the Kree superhero Mar-Vell in Marvel Superheroes number 13, March of 1968. Danvers later became the first incarnation of Miss Marvel, dated January 1977, after her DNA was fused with Mar-Vell's during an explosion, giving her superhuman powers. During the Silver Age of comics, the character was featured in a self-titled series in the late 70s, before becoming associated with the superhero teams, the Avengers and the X-Men. She's also been known as Binary, Warbird, and Captain Marvel. So she has all these powers, and then Rogue zapped them from her, and Rogue became the Rogue we all know and love. So, Tim, she's been around technically since 1968 as a side character. And then in 1977, she got her own title, written by Jerry Conway and Chris Claremont, later on at least. And the cover was done by my favorite artist, John Romita Sr. The costume does not look that good back then. Not here to rip on my boy, John Romita Sr., but the old design was not that good. But I guess she... Here she is as Binary. I've never read that X-Men. Number 164. That's pretty cool looking. Then again, Dave Cockrum's just a fantastic artist. That's one of the best X teams, too. We've never seen them as a team properly in films. Cyclops, Storm, Colossus, and Nightcrawler. Throw in Wolverine, and who else we need on the team? Not Kitty Pryde. I don't like Kitty Pryde. Put Rogue in there. And then here she was for a while in the 2000s. This is the costume I liked. I mean, I wonder why. This is drawn by, I believe, by Frank Cho, the guy that hates on Comicsgate. So it's funny, everything that he wants to shit on Comicsgate for that he doesn't realize, he's pretty much responsible for it. He's pre-Comicsgate, Comicsgate. And then Marvel got woke, and she now looks like this. And this is what we're going to get in the movie. This is why people get nervous about the film, because the comic books are about this shit. They're not about fun superheroing adventures. It's to show a message, to prove a point. Stephen Morgan, thank you very much. He says, finally back stealing solo today. Sorry I took so long. Stephen, you don't have to apologize. I appreciate that you did back stealing solo. And I'd like to thank everybody, like 850 or something like that. The numbers are crazy. I mean, I'll just look off there. But yeah, the numbers are ridiculous. There's a lot of people that have backed stealing solo. Superfan Adam Shawhan has done it a lot. Everybody backed stealing solo the way Superfan Adam Shawhan did. We'd be on Adult Swim. I'd have bought my way onto Adult Swim. But yeah, we have 856 backers with 16 days left, $34,329, 171% of the total goal. So, Steven, thank you for backing it. And you're going to love the story. I'm excited. So I'm really hoping that obviously it goes up and up at the end. I would like to at least reach 1,000 backers. We're so close, 144 more, and then we can reach that goal. We won't be Comicsgate's biggest book. Will be the best book, though. Be the best book. The proportions are not right. The hair sucks. Well, this is an Ed. Was Ed McGuinness that drew this Captain Marvel image. I think it's meant to be in perspective. It just goes to show you, even comic book artists who draw normally great stuff sometimes don't pump out the greatest of work. So let me show you Ed McGuinness's work, because I think Ed McGuinness is an all-time great. He is not. He's not an artist that I think really has a lot of shortcomings. Let me find a big enough image to show you guys. I wonder if Ethan knows him. Probably does, because he was a DC guy, mostly known for his Batman and crossover stuff. Oh, he's done X-Men stuff too. Now we don't need to look at Black Panther art. Here is Ed McGuinness. We'll look at Superman, because Deadpool can wait. But this is normally what you get when you think about Ed McGuinness artwork. He's a fantastic artist. This picture is just dumb. It's Captain Marvel. What else is there to say? But this is Ed McGuinness's artwork right here, and it's excellent. I consider myself a fan of his work. I have his Batman, Superman, Public Enemies graphic novel trade paperback right next to me. People wanted me to go back and look at the Captain Marvel, the Miss Marvel with the boobs. See. So the new Superman will be Black Meth. Oh, I do not want to see a new Superman film for a while. See, yeah, Ed McGuinness draws really buff, muscular characters. I don't really know who Superman's punching. Is that Parasite? It's usually the purple that gives it away for me. But I love Ed McGuinness's artwork. It's very, very good. I'm trying to find anything else he's drawn that you guys would have. Here you go. Here's something he. See, not every character he draws, though, is like super, super buff. I mean, let's look at this page he did from Spider-Man Deadpool. And for a while, he was the best Spider-Man artist out there. And I mean, as of recent, because Spider-Man's costume had changed. And I didn't really enjoy it. But Ed McGuinness kept the traditional Spider-Man suit, and that is important to me. Now, when I think of Spider-Man, this is the type of design I think of. I really don't think the character needs to evolve at all in terms of looks. I don't know, maybe call me old-fashioned. I'll take that as a compliment or a drink. But yeah, this is Ed McGuinness' Spider-Man. Not every character he draws is overly blocky and bulky. Tim Riggs says, those are unrealistic body types. Misandry. Yeah, those are unrealistic body types, man. You and I need to get joint gym memberships, and we'll just go, we'll lift, and we'll eat nothing but steak and eggs for, 6 months. And we'll look like that, and our hearts will suck, but we'll look like that. And then we'll blame DC. My heart's stopping because you showed me Superman, and I could never look like that. And now I sound like Terry Funk. Yeah, see, this is a good Spider-Man to me. And then here is a page of his actual work, Spider-Man and Deadpool. If you guys ever have a chance to read it, you won't regret it. It's a fun story. You see Deadpool's daughter, which I didn't realize he had one because I'm not really a Deadpool guy. But yeah, this is Ed McGuinness' more recent Marvel work, and I think it's pretty good. James Bond crossover with all of DC. James Bond used to be the first comic book from James Bond was a DC comic book. Dr. No's adaptation was over at DC. I believe it's DC Showcase. That's one of the #1 comic books on my must-have list. The thing is, that's not even that expensive. I've just never found one to buy. So that's a book I'd love to own one day. So yeah, this guy did do the Captain Marvel stuff. I know that was an odd, detour into this. But yes, his art is good. And McGuinness, that was just one bad thing. But I use that. It's more indicative of a bad character design with Captain Marvel, not Ed McGuinness as a bad artist. Let's see. What is there to say about it, Ed McGuinness? He's from Massachusetts. He did a lot of Hulk stuff. He's got a wife and 4 kids. Good for him. He's got a fairly big family, and he's a well-known artist. So I hope he's making some good bank and moving into a bigger place. Why does she have 4 arms? I think she's a spider creature. She also has pointy ears and a bad mohawk and claw fingers. Claw fingers. That sounds like a James Bond villain. There's Goldfinger, there's Jaws, and there's Clawfinger. Hello, Pie Guy. Welcome to a live stream. So let's talk about. Hold on. Let's see. Grendel Fan 84 says we had that issue come into the store back in February. The James Bond one. Damn it! I wish I would have known you in February. We were busy making Star Wars toy videos and lighting the world on fire. You're holding James Bond comics I would have killed for. Thanks, man. I appreciate you thinking of me. But while we're on the topic of comic books and all this other fun stuff, let's talk about something you probably haven't heard of. The unproduced Captain America musical about Captain America's midlife crisis. I'll wait a second for that to sink in. I know there's a delay. with the way we talk to each other here. You want a Stealing Solo plug? Well, folks, check out Stealing Solo. Links in the description below. We have 16 days left, so grab your copy because once it's gone, and you're going to love it. You like clean, readable artwork? Well, I've shown you clean, readable artwork, and I'll continue to make clean, readable artwork. It's going to be a lot longer, too. I guess I should just change that thing. It went from being a 32-page comic to probably like a 50-page comic book. So there we go. A lot of people are like, oh, God, no. Yes. Yes. Now, I remember checking out, I read a lot of comic books, or I used to read a lot of comic books, and my favorite ones were always from the 80s because I liked the art and the references. And every once in a while, on the back cover or in the last couple pages of a comic book, you would find this advertisement for Captain America's musical. And you'd think, oh, that'll never get made. Well, it didn't get made. But let's talk about what it is. So, as we wait for the next inevitable delay from Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, let's pause to remember a time when Captain America nearly hoofed it on the Great White Way in Captain America, the musical that almost was. The year was 1985. If you were reading comic books back then, you might remember seeing this utterly bizarre ad looking for a girl aged 10 to 14 who could sing, dance, and act up a storm to co-star with the Star-Spangled Avengers' special friend in a Broadway musical spectacular. The mind boggles at the possibilities presented here. Would Cap actually have worn that jaunty hat on stage? Would Red Skull have appeared? And if so, would he have performed the rousing 11 o'clock number? And if that show had been a success, would Marvel Comic Books have replaced Backstage as the premier source for Broadway casting calls? But of course, the musical never happened, leaving us with the question is why anyone would have ever thought that this was a good idea, to look for the next Annie in the pages of Rom the Space Knight. Though it did give us, admittedly, wonderful image of Captain America dancing for liberty. While the thought of Captain America playing Daddy Warbucks to a precocious tot is bad enough, according to a New York Times write-up on the show from April of '85, the reality would have been much worse. Captain America boasts a hero-sized $4 million budget. It's going to be a big one if everything works out as it befits the musical named Captain America. Big in this case. Big means a budget of $4 million, a lot of money, even for a superhero fighting for the American dream, the flag, and the woman he loves. The superhero will not, in fact, be particularly super when the curtain goes up. The book by Mel Mandel and Norman Sachs, who are responsible for the music and lyrics, has Captain America going through a midlife crisis. Fortunately, the action speeds up. His girlfriend, a candidate for president, is captured by terrorists, and he's held hostage at the Lincoln Memorial. That's enough for the plot. When you invest millions as our Sharpie Ubin and James Galton and Marvel Comics and some of the yet untapped sources, you're entitled to a few secrets. I've never heard of that name. Sherry Upbin. The musical story involves Captain America in battling a villain familiar to anyone who has ever seen an Alan Alda movie from the 80s, The Midlife Crisis. One wonders if the book by Mel Mandel and Norman Sachs, composers of the awesomely titled 1968 Jekyll and Hyde musical After You, Mr. Hyde, also featured Cap giving up the whole hero thing in order to grow out a beard and follow James Taylor around on tour for a while. In light of the $65 million bucks currently being blown on faulty wirework over at Foxwood Theater, it's amusing to note that it's amusing to note the Times' incredulity over a $4 million budget. Though he had Captain America musical opened and tanked, it would have been Broadway's biggest bomb of the 80s. That honor still would have gone to the infamous Carrie musical, an $8 million fiasco and previous holder for the worst Broadway musical idea ever title. Of course, $8 million wouldn't even cover the cost of Ace Bandages and Icy Hot currently being used by what's left of Turn Off the Dark's cast. So there you go. I remember seeing this ad, and look at that. Captain. Did Ramita draw this? Ramita probably drew this. There we go. Captain America. You can star with Captain America in a musical. I mean, don't ever tell me I never show you guys new shit on the show. Springtime for Thanos. That wins. That wins right there. Tim Riggs says, sounds like a uniquely bad idea. Smell that? Whew. Marvel had a lot of bad ideas. There was a magazine called Foom, Friends of Old Marvel. What a dumb concept. They were always trying to do shit, and it just never worked. I mean, the comics worked, but they would always try to expand and do all these other things, and I don't know, man. Stephen Morgan, thank you very much. It looks like he sent in a joke. Which superhero spends too much time in the sun? Captain America. Oh, what a great way to spend my Friday with puns. No, but thank you very much, Stephen Morgan. I always need a good laugh. Always need a good laugh. I appreciate a good laugh. Bring Fin Fang Foom to the screen. Maybe. Yeah, Rokins gets it. Yeah, I need a soundboard for this channel. So every time someone sends in a bad joke, it just randomly plays the rim shot or whatever. That'd be a lot of fun. People are loving the dad jokes. I do too. Channel Dad Brian Lape, ironically enough, can't tell a dad joke. I wish you were here, Channel Dad Brian Lape, to tell us a dad joke. But I for one, would have not seen this Captain America musical. It just wouldn't have done it for me. Swinging Cod says, McGinnis's best artwork is from Public Enemies, Our Worlds at War, Hulk, and World War Hulks, for anyone who wants to catch up. I like I said, Public Enemies. I got it right here. I don't know why I'm going to pull it out because I'm on air. It's not like I'm going to read a comic to you guys on the show. But yeah, I got my copy right here. That's what this is. Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness, Dexter Vines. Dexter Vines is a very good inker. And this comic, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, comes with the Blu-ray, the DVD, and the Ultraviolet HD digital copy that I can watch anywhere. Normally, these things retail for about $25 to $29. I got it for a whopping $5 at Ollie's. So it's really nice when you can pick up good stuff cheap. That's not Star Wars because, well, it has to be good in the first place. He's singing the Star Spangled Man with a Plan. That was a good song, and that was a good movie. And it saddens me to think that the Chris Evans era is over. Or could be over. I'm really hoping that we're all expecting it to be done, and then we see the movie, and it's just like, oh shit, he's not dead. Yeah. Stephen Morgan, also, thank you very much. What do you get when you cross Spider-Man with an ear of corn? Cobwebs. Sorry, couldn't resist loving this stream. So chill and relaxing. Thank you, Stephen Morgan. Oh my God, cobwebs. I'm going to say that to Dion. Hold on. Let me take a screenshot of this. Oh, my God. Damn. Yeah. Amazon sent me another email about this jacket. I mean, do they want me to cancel it? There we go. Stephen Morgan, thank you very much for your jokes. It's helping me get through the frustration of just mail me my damn jacket. That's all I can say. Our friend Tim Riggs also sent in a message that says, speaking of dads, little my brother, master of dad jokes, introduced my nieces to Ghostbusters for the first time this week. They are 5 and 3. Oh, man, Ghostbusters, that is like a great age to watch Ghostbusters. I mean, you can watch it when you're older, but you can also enjoy it when you're younger. Me personally, I didn't probably see it until I was, 8 or so, but it's a good time to be a kid and watch that stuff through that lens of like a first time is always exciting. I had that discussion with my mom the other day. Certain things are just really fun and exciting because it's new. Life is new. We were at some restaurant. Some kid was just so excited to be there. I'm like, hey, kid, this pizza's good, but it's not that great. And I thought to myself, no, this kid probably could be his first pizza. It could be this. It could be all new stuff. And I thought about it for a minute. Like, yeah, man, I want, firsts are still fun at any age, 30, 60, 90, whatever you're doing. If it's the first time you've done it, pretty exciting. And even if you're a little nervous, it's still kind of fun. But Ghostbusters, man. I kind of want to. I was thinking about throwing that on our Halloween list because I know a lot of people have a copy of the movie. But then I thought, is it really scary? Maybe one of these nights when I don't have much to do, we'll do Ghostbusters as a live stream. And we'll hang out, we'll watch it, and stuff like that. Because we did it once with Star Wars, but it was like a double feature of Star Wars, and I fell asleep at the end. So it doesn't really matter. Venom cut 40 minutes out to get a PG-13 instead of an R. You can tell. Ooh. Oh my god. I never hear anything positive. I know some people are saying I'm going to make my own opinion. I'm going to, see it for myself. Do that. Awesome. More power to you. All I'm saying is I'm not sold on the character of Venom outside of Spider-Man being there. So we may be watching the next big failure. That's all I can say. Ghostbusters scared me at 8. It scares my mom to this day, probably. And she told her she got scared watching it. She's like, I don't like imagining that little boy getting eaten. I'm like, Mom, this is the Tim Curry version. There's no blood. Nope, it was still too intense for her. And I'm like, it's John Ritter. When has John Ritter ever been scary? He's like the nicest guy that ever lived. And she's like, I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm just like, Mom. She disappointed me. That's okay. There'll be an unrated version on Blu-ray, probably, Scott. I for one won't be supporting that. I don't do Sony Pictures anymore. I know at one point they were doing 007, and that's fine, but I only collected those out of habit. And believe the home video releases were 20th Century Fox's. It was, so. If Cher got her hands on Ant-Man's tech, she would be the puny Cher. Go home, please. Let's see. I was traumatized at 8 when I walked into my grandparents having sex. Oh, you don't think to knock before entering your grandparents' home. Bleach my brain, please. Ew. Ew. Oh, John. John. Ew. Hopefully you didn't see anything going into anything. Gross. Ugh. Ghostbusters 2016 scares me, but for different reasons. It is so boring. We watched it on Patreon last year. Was that a year ago? No, it had to be. Yeah, it was last year. It was rough, man. That and The Force Awakens. We did double features. I got blackout drunk. Oh my god. If Dracula gets remade and goes woke, would you watch it? No. Definitely not. Bustin' Makes Me Feel Good. It's a great song. I got my hands on the new Blu-ray of Kolchak, the movie The Night Stalker. JSP, I'm a member of a Kolchak, the Night Stalker group over on Facebook. And I've only seen the TV show. Yeah, there's a TV show, right? It was on Stan McGavin. I'm pretty sure they had multiple episodes on Netflix for a while. And I was like, this is kind of cool. And then I didn't buy the Blu-ray. But if it's cheap, it's something I'd like to own. I like Darren McGavin quite a bit. Brokens, thank you very much for your super chat. Doesn't have to be a horror movie for Halloween. If it's a good movie for Halloween, like Tim Burton's NBC, Night Before Christmas, if you got a good set of movies you enjoy on the holiday, enjoy them. That's a good point to make. It is, because I also would throw in Beetlejuice for... It's weird, though. Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, and Back to the Future are movies I like to watch over the summer. I like to do horror in October, and then around Christmas, I like to watch James Bond movies. I don't know if it's because that's when I got them as gifts or what, but I don't know. That's how I usually watch them. But I can do horror movies, most of the year, but I really embrace them this time of the year. Like I was on Mondo's website, and they had Michael Myers enamel pins. I was like, I should get a Michael Myers enamel pin to go with my Michael Myers figure, and oh man, maybe I should get a Halloween poster and this and that. And I was like, don't fall into the trap, man. But get a couple things. Now, Nightmare Before Christmas, I remember watching that as a kid in theaters, and I didn't like it back then. And I know a lot of people get upset when I say that, but I would need to watch it again as an adult. I have a Jack Skellington figure, like, somewhere in my office, like the original one. So that would have been, what, 92? 90? Let's say it was 93 is my guess. Yeah, that was like the Power Rangers Christmas, because I think I got Sally and Jack Skellington toys, and they sucked because they were like bendable figures. See, back then all the Disney toys sucked because they were cheaper. Like Power Rangers were more expensive, but you got what you paid for. They had articulated fingers and all this stuff. The Disney toys were like crappy and little, and they didn't care. I need to watch Evil Dead 4. What should I expect going in? Sorry, I saw a Rude for Her Pleasure joke. Ew. If you're talking about Evil Dead the remake, yeah, that'd be the fourth one. Be prepared. I wouldn't eat when you watch this one because there's a scene with an electric knife, and it really is kind of gross. Or the part where the girl carves her face with a fucking mirror. Ugh. It's very gory, but I think it was a pretty solid flick. So go in, make sure. Here's the piece of advice I have for you. Watch through the credit sequence. That's all the thing I'll tell you. Watch it. John, I have some good news for you since you mentioned Christina Ricci. My cousin used to go out with a woman who was cousins with Christina Ricci, and I don't mean like they're related, but they don't talk. They were tight, so we have a connection to Christina Ricci now on the channel. Do I think Ghostbusters would have been better with John Belushi instead of Bill Murray? Ew, no. I like Belushi, but man, Bill Murray's funnier. They're talking about Evil Dead 4 with David Hasselhoff. Is that like what is that from? Was it like a Robot Chicken skit or something? Return of the Evil Dead. Oh, I don't even know what Return of the Evil Dead is. I have Evil Deads 1 through... I'm just for the brevity of it, I'm just going to call Army of Darkness Evil Dead 3. I have those 3, and then I've seen the remake, but I didn't realize there was a... Tight cousins. Like Kentucky cousins? Wow. Well, they're from like New Jersey, but hey, anything can happen. Animal House with Belushi is funny. It is funny, but Bill Murray has a wider range. I think. Well, okay. So we talked about movie curses the other night. You guys need to check out that stream because that was a really, really fun, successful stream. And we talked about the Atuk curse. I think that's what it's called. It's this movie about an Eskimo, and Belushi, John Candy, Chris Farley, Sam Kinison, and Phil Hartman were all attached at one point, and they all died, and no one's ever tried to make the movie since. But we were talking about John Belushi's drug addiction and how he was trying to be taken as a serious actor, and people, wouldn't. Bill Murray, he made some really crappy movie around Ghostbusters time, but then he also has done really serious roles later in his life, and he's really much more well-versed as an actor. Well, he's versatile. Yeah, I've heard that was originally who the role was written for, and I believe at one point they wanted Eddie Murphy in the movie or some shit like that. I'm glad we got the Ghostbusters we got. I wouldn't want to change anything about Ghostbusters. Mark C says, all hail Muff Daddy. Thank you, Mark C. Thank you. That is a name I've accepted, and I will be using it going forward. MC Muff Daddy. What's a Mick Muff Daddy? Damn it, it's MC. I forgot the periods. Oh, the Hasselhoff Evil Dead 4 is a foreign-made movie made in Europe. Oh, never heard of it, so I can't give you guys any opinions or pieces of advice for it. I realized yesterday how different Beetlejuice cartoon was from the movie. Yeah, as a kid, I would watch the cartoon every day that it was on. And then I would go to my aunt's house to watch the Beetlejuice film, and I'm like, wait, Beetlejuice is the bad guy? But I liked it. It was dark and different, and, I'm not a Tim Burton aficionado or fanatic or anything like that, but I do love me some Beetlejuice. Would you watch the horror movies of Dooku's actor? Oh, you mean Christopher Lee? All the Christopher Lee Hammer horror? Yeah, I've seen those. Not all of them, but some of them. I've seen him play Dracula. I've seen him play Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, I love Christopher Lee. He's a fantastic actor. He was in a James Bond flick. To roll it forward back to James Bond day, Christopher Lee was Francisco Scaramanga, and he was also the cousin of Ian Fleming, who created James Bond. Do you really need to wear a belt if you're already wearing blue spandex? I wish I understood that reference. Oh, Captain America, the suit. Yeah, I guess you do. I think it's just to break up the costume of the body. Spider-Man's suit has like a fake belt on the shirt, and I think it's just to break up the torso to look a little more heroic. Because back then, costume design was meant to make the men characters look, intimidating and muscular. And so when you break it up a little bit, it doesn't make the torso look as long and lean. Because like when Superman got rid of the belt and the trunks, he looked real feminine and just, there's his little hips. This kind of, boom, makes it blocky and cool. So I'm guessing there's a tree ripping scene of the 2013 remake of The Evil Dead. Dude, I saw that movie 5 years ago once. Maybe it is. I know it's kind of. I don't know if it's scary at times, but there are some gross out moments. I remember leaving the theater being kind of happy. I was up in New Jersey for WrestleMania when I saw it, and then I also saw Spring Breakers like 2 days later, and that movie sucked, but I still talk about it. Spring Break. Okay, the tree does rape. Okay, there we go. Where did Captain America get his pirate boots at? Pirate boots are us. Yeah, this is such a weird image. I bet you could buy this original art for like $2,000. You'd want to spend $2,000 on it. Just saying. Evil Dead has some serious torture porn overtones in it. Evil Dead's got a lot going on in it, but I like Evil Dead, especially number 2. That is such a well-made movie, and it's, I won't call it an independent flick, but it's definitely low budget, and for what it is, what Sam Raimi achieved, I love those movies. I wonder how much money they've made on all the video releases, because there are so many different video releases of The Evil Dead. It's not even funny. Rokins, thank you very much for your super chat. Would you and another world-class bullshitter be willing to share some of their best experiences during Halloween/Hallows Eve? Sam Hain, it'll be the ultimate candy or be at the ultimate candy or experience. Yeah, we can talk about that on the Halloween stream. I can tell you right now, though, so you don't have to wait in case you miss it. Because, I mean, a 17-hour stream is going to be hard to pinpoint when we cover certain things. So let's see. I'll give you some great Halloween experiences. So when I was a kid, a good one was when I finally found a Power Ranger costume because I needed an extra large. And it was like my grandma made me one the first year, the Blue Ranger, and they took a sweatsuit and it looked okay. And I was happy to be a Power Ranger. But Halloween 94, we found a White Ranger costume and I was ecstatic. And that was probably my first really good Halloween memory. I do remember the following Halloween 95, I skipped going trick-or-treating because I was given a copy of Batman Forever on tape. And I asked if I could stay up, eat food, and watch Batman Forever twice. And I did. So I skipped Halloween 95. Other good memories. Nothing really too crazy in high school or in late grade school, just candy and shit like that. But when I got to college, a lot of great Halloween stories. Let me see if there is a video I used to have called Michael Myers: The College Years. Let me see if it's still on YouTube. I'll show it to you guys. It's me. I had this Michael Myers mask and I'd wear it in college, and it was a lot of fun. But the mask got destroyed. I'll tell more of the crazier stories like on an after hours thing. Let's see. Michael Myers, The College Years. It used to be on my channel. I don't know if I deleted it or I made it hidden. I guess it's gone. That's okay. It only works if you could hear the sound, and I wouldn't play the sound because I don't really want to get a copyright strike for playing the theme, especially if we got all these people, coming out after us. Michael Myers is it still here? Oh, okay. Here you go, folks. If you want to check out the story, I have a thing called The Legend of My Michael Myers Mask on the channel. Oh, man, there's all the old Schlocktoberfest stuff I did. Thing commentary, Are You Afraid of the Dark? All that. Halloween double feature. Hold on. Let's see if I can pull this up and show it to you guys. Turn the sound off. Might have to worry about my own sound on a video I'm making. No, but let's see, Rokins. What other Halloween memories do I have that are good? Oh my god, I remember going to a lot of parties, a lot of like college, like your typical college shit is what I did on Halloween. Drinking, partying, this, that, and the other. Here's a dumb story to tell. One year for Halloween, Dion got a costume of Flash Gordon, but it didn't come in time, so I had to draw him a Flash Gordon T-shirt. And he got so sweaty that all the Sharpie marker ran from the shirt. So he just looked like a guy in a sweaty red T-shirt. And his girlfriend, now wife, was dressed as Tommy Wiseau from The Room. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Here is, I found the video. I found some of the footage. So feast your eyes on this. It's old footage. It's going to be kind of chunky. But let's watch this together. We'll see. It's, oh my god, if you can even see this. If you want to watch this for yourself with the commentary where I tell stories, you know, do like this is a bus stop, and this girl, you know, she sees my reflection in the window, which is the best part, and then she screams. Yeah, so it gets dumber. Let's see. Is there other shit? This is Michael Myers, the college years. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, so this was across the street from my dorm. And this was the dude right here on the camera. That's the guy that used to play Mass Effect. So there I am, just random dudes. This was a lot of fun back then. I loved this. I bought this jumpsuit my freshman year at college, and people were always like creeped out by me in this mask. It was a lot of fun. Those were the good old days. We'll put it like that. Those were the good old days. Midnight Cherry TV says, "Happy Bond Day. New schedule has me missing these." I'm sorry, Midnight Cherry TV. By the way, I got your message on Patreon. I'll give you my schedule, and I'll appear on whatever you're asking me to appear on. So let's see. I've heard about the Toys R Us thing. I've heard about that. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping they can't really save mine, but the other ones can be saved. So I'm looking forward to next Christmas having not Michael Myers. Next Christmas having Toys R Us back. Let's see. Oh, wrestling show. Yeah. That's what it was. I knew I read the message because the messages come to my phone, but I can't respond to them. So I have to log in on the computer. Sometimes I read them and I forget. So there we go. Michael Myers is still amazing. Is recognizable as Freddy or Jason when it comes to great slashers. Yeah, I think Michael Myers is the best. He's the proto slasher. Freddy Krueger's second best, and then Jason, whatever. I'm freaking huge compared to other people. Yeah, I am. That's why I don't really get afraid to go to conventions and like, what if somebody punches you like the quartering? I don't think that's a smart move. Like, no soy boy can roundhouse kick my phone out of my hand because it just wouldn't work. I'm not slow either. That's the scary part. People would assume that, oh, it's a big guy, he's probably slow. No, just don't. Like, what is that trailer from Planet Terror and Grindhouse, that movie? Don't. Yeah, I'm gonna kick this guy. Don't. That's all I can tell you is don't. I wouldn't even notice. I doubt most people could roundhouse kick to my head. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. But yeah, that was me. I just have tons of great stories with that mask scaring people. What I used to do, though, to make sure I would never get in trouble is I'd always have 2 or 3 people with me because I never would want to be accused of attacking somebody. I wouldn't even touch anybody. What I would do is I would like stand behind a tree and all of a sudden my friend would be like, "Hey, they're coming." And so I'd walk out and just appear and people would be like, "Ah!" And they'd run off, or they would just be like, "What the fuck?" It was really funny. 9 times out of 10, I got the reaction I wanted. So it was always a good experience for me. Let's see. Favorite Dracula? Bela Lugosi. Oh, wait, no. Leslie Nielsen. Oh, man. Have I seen the horror flick Teeth? I haven't seen it, but I know of it, and I refuse to watch it. I don't want to watch a movie where a dude gets his wiener bitten off by a vagina dentata. There weren't rednecks at Michigan State University. It was too cost prohibitive for them to just run around with a shotgun. Jeff, have you heard that some YouTuber is blaming Jeremy and the Fandom Menace for Solo's failure at the box office? It's on Jeremy's latest video. I haven't seen that. If we're responsible, if we have that kind of power to make all those people not go see Solo, then how do we not have the ability to make them? How do we not have like boats and shit in Miami? Because if we were that persuasive, I'm sure we'd be persuasive to get them to buy, anything and be, stupid rich, young, rich, and famous with money hanging out the anus. If you can tell me what that's from, I'll be impressed. But that's a real rap lyric, by the way. It's stupid. Who is it? Who's making that claim? They're always trying to, oh, it's their fault. Last week it was goddamn Russian bots. That's been disproved. Now it's our fault for Solo's failure. Hey, guys, how about it was just a bad movie? Just saying, man, it was just a bad movie. It's not really, you know, our fault. I saw the damn movie. I didn't pay money. I had a free thing to go see it, but I saw the movie. That's all. They got my money, so it's not my fault. It's their fault. Let's see. I'm not going to read their name on air because that way people who listen to this will go, "Hey, I'll check it out." No, I'll read it. I got the name. Let's check them out. So let's see how big their channel is. They have 38,000 subscribers, so they think they should have 138,000. Let's see, videos. So let's see, they're ripping on Venom. So they're like a shittier version of all of us with like a tenth of the views. Okay. So all they want is attention. That's why. There's one channel that has like 300 subscribers that constantly makes videos attacking me, Jeremy, and Ethan. I'm just like, it's not even worth my time. I don't even watch them anymore. People are like, this person's making a video about you. I'm like, okay. That's all I can say. So they can, these people can blame us for all this stuff. But blame us for, oh, well, the Star Wars toys didn't sell. It's the Fandom Menace's fault. It's literally everyone's fault but Star Wars. You're all, look at the people who made that video. If you are an abused housewife of Star Wars, I apologize in advance. But you do need to come to the realization that it's Star Wars' fault, not ours. We didn't make the movies bad. Now, if I had the power to make a Star Wars flick and it was hot shit, then you could blame me. But until then, you can't. I voice my opinion. I'm sorry that more people listen to our show than yours, and you want to try to attack us. Some douchebags were trying to say, well, you were telling people that it was ending in September for Kathleen. I never said that. Well, you did this. I never said that. Those are other channels that are not even associated with us that are making those claims. I'm sorry that you are too dumb to put the dots together about who we interact with. So they can make their videos, they can make their claims, they can just bring it all day long, but it doesn't bother me one bit. Like I said, I have people that I'm focused on that like world-class bullshitters and what we do, lots of people. I'm really not worried about the one guy out there that's trying to tear us down because it won't work. I play within the rules of YouTube. I make sure that we don't use anything copywritten and all that other crap. So I don't really want to hear about some other group attacking Jeremy and me and all that tough shit, man. You want to get clicks? Come up with something interesting. Don't be concerned with what others think of you. Just be pleased that they think of you. This has been your moment of zen. Well, John Harrison, I agree with that. Here's how I operate. I think it's Oscar Wilde that says, the only thing that's worse than people talking badly about you is people not talking about you at all. So, that's why we have tens of thousands of subscribers and tons of Twitter followers and all this shit. You can sell $35,000 in comic books and all this stuff. These people can go, oh, I don't like what they say about Star Wars. Why do people like them? Because you know what? We have interesting points. We're entertaining and we're good to the people that listen to the show. It's really easy. Don't kiss a company's ass because they don't care about you. They make their money elsewhere. They're focused on their interests, and you're hoping to get just a taste of a table scrap from Disney or Lucasfilm or wherever you want to go. That's fine, man. That is your prerogative. This is America. You can do what you want to do. I take the other approach. I don't like what I'm seeing, but I don't shit on the people that like what we do. It's really, really basic. Also, the guy tried to get Jeremy on his channel a few times, but Jeremy ignored him. So he tries to attack Jeremy this way. Well, I'll tell you this. I'll never appear on his channel because he's done that now. So, you've messed up, Mr. Guy, by attacking one of my friends. I'm not going to give you the benefit of going on your channel. So, Did I ever get to the bottom of my fake music copyright claim? Yes, I did. They did not like the strongly worded letter, and it got retracted. Let's see, I got it on what? On a Friday. By that Monday, it was cleared up. It was, I maybe they heard. My thing is, I think it's somebody that was trying to mess with us. And then once I said, well, this is the music I use, and I'm going to have 10,000 people send you a fucking email about it, then they backed down. So I could understand had I used it and got, I shouldn't use the song, but it wasn't even the same instruments. It was a copyright-free thing. So that's why, folks, when you make YouTube videos, use the copyright royalty-free music. You'll find that there are a lot of great people out there that make music for free that don't want anything for it. So, just take that approach. Now, sometimes I'm willing to make a joke. Like I said, the Rose Tico Tower, you needed the 2001 Space Odyssey music. But at the end of the day, I didn't do that. But yeah, I got it taken care of. That's like me creating the worst fan fiction, and I blame the reviewers. That was my fault to begin with. Yeah, I agree. Did you hear that the new She-Ra VA is saying criticism of Netflix show as being sexist, yet the original VA of She-Ra from the 1980s supports the old school fans? Dude, She-Ra and He-Man are before my time, so I don't really follow anything, even the new versions. I know the Quartering and those guys cover a lot of the Get Woke, Go Broke stuff, but I haven't heard anything about the new She-Ra stuff. The voice artist. Okay, that's what the VA stands for, the voiceover artist. It's just, you know what? I can comment on that, though. It's just this new climate. That's why people don't like your stuff, because you keep running to sexist and racist and all this shit. It's called I don't fucking like it. I didn't like that new Halloween fan film that came out. Oh, well, you critiqued the actress. That's sexist. No, I just didn't think she did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like, critique doesn't come from a place of misogyny. It just comes from, I wasn't entertained. Jeff, they think you're a white guy. LOL, that's why it's all your fault. Then they learn that you're not, and they still can't face the truth. We all just want good movies. Hey, I do love the fact when they try to go, like, oh, these angry white guys are world-class bullshitters. I'm like, bitch, please. Am I going to bring back the Rageaholic? I love that guy. Oh, Razor Fist? Yeah, I could... Razor Fist could come back on the channel anytime he wants. I really don't know what we would talk about right now, but I do like him quite a bit. Never met the guy, but very, very fun to talk to. So, yeah, the guests we've had, I don't think there's anyone I wouldn't invite back. Like Doomcock, Razor Fist. It's funny, at one point, Ethan was a guest on the channel. There was no High Council. It was just Ethan who was a guest on the channel. And, I'm glad he's the one that's like, we need to do more of these, and we've become friends. So I'm happy. Given that Stealing Solo is a success, will you be making another parody comic when it's finished? I'll do other comics. I don't know if there'll be more parody comics. The thing about this is it's a passion comic. It came up as a joke on the show. I'm really passionate about how bad the new Star Wars movies are, and this is just my way of making fun of the whole situation. Now, my version of parody comics don't include, cartoony, like, Mad Magazine art. I got my own style, but the situation, the dialogue, the writing, like I'll share another line of dialogue or something from the comic with you guys. So there's a scene where I figure out Harrison Ford's been kidnapped and put in the basement. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to let you railroad me into kidnapping Harrison Ford, because Kendo kidnaps him. And I said something like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to let him go, and Harrison Ford will tell people in court that I had nothing to do with it. And Harrison Ford nods in agreement. And then Nick comes up on screen and says, well, we'll kill him and tell everyone that you told us to do it. And then Harrison Ford nods in scare in horror. So there's just like little moments like that. The humor lies in like the reactions, the expressions, the stuff like that. I do love to draw people and stuff like that. So emotions, expressions are my thing. Let's see. You did bring in Mundane Matt, just saying. I didn't bring in Mundane Matt. Mundane Matt appeared on the High Council. I consider the High Council like its own thing that has a floating channel. But I thought our appearance with Mundane Matt was... Every word I said to the man, I meant it, I stood by it, and you can all listen to it. And there's not one single thing I said on that I regret. I feel it's taken out of context. I thought it out. People were like, why are you so silent? I was thinking about what I wanted to say, guys. I was thinking about what I wanted to say, and I was happy. Hey, Jeff, did you see the She-Ra post I sent you to your Facebook page? It's a screenshot from the new trailer where she gets caught around the neck by a vine and don't die. I did not. Our Facebook page has we had to make some changes on it, so I haven't been following it too much. I'm letting Kendo take care of that for right now. Sass. Let's see. Oh, Ethan was pissed that day. Ethan wasn't even in town that day. It was hilarious. I love when Ethan's had a couple beers in him. I can't wait to meet the dude. I know Jeremy doesn't drink, and that's fine. I'm not gonna peer pressure, but I am into anything. I'll just give him a lot of Mountain Dew and get him jacked up on sugar. But Ethan and I will have a couple nice adult beverages and shoot the shit. Yeah, the episode was epic. That was probably the best High Council, realistically. And it was here on this channel. Do I still have the World Class Bullshitters website in the works? Yes, I do. But Steven, I wanted to get through Stealing Solo and get that out there for people. The reason I picked the time I did for that comic too was I didn't want to interfere with Ethan in Cyberfrog, because Ethan's like, yeah, man, I'll help you promote it. Well, if someone's going to go out of their way to help you, I don't want it to go against the interest of their own book. So, like, I'm going to try to appear on more of these Comicsgate streams to promote Stealing Solo to get, I want to hit the stretch goal. It'd be really nice in the final days to be like, boom, it hit, 30,000 at the halfway mark. By the end, it passed the 100, and now everybody gets 2 comic books type of thing. So that's why I picked it the way I did. But I am going to do the website. There will be, World Class Bullshitter shirts and Good Morning Pop Culture mugs. I eventually want to give Good Morning Pop Culture its own channel. That way I can advertise for it, do all that other stuff, and there'll be less confusion with this channel. So there'll be this channel for all the daily videos, Good Morning Pop Culture for the live streams in the same community, because it is a very small percentage of people that watch Good Morning Pop Culture, but I am here every day for it type of thing, because, let's say 400 people on average show up. Those 400 people are really, really dedicated, so I don't want to take that away from anybody. We tried to do a High Council YouTube channel to separate it from us, but the reason it doesn't work is because we split the super chats, and that would involve, if it was its own channel, then it would have to go here, and then we'd have to figure out the taxes and all this other shit. So we just separated, it's a crapshoot, some weeks it's great, some weeks it's not. That's the reason why we don't have our own channel, because actually it does have its own channel. You can look it up. There is a High Council channel, but we could never get it to work right. Oh, Turbo Dolphin, you had a good introduction to the series, my friend. Trent, I am not going to be available tonight, man. My mom's off work today, so after this show, I'm going to be going somewhere with her. Yeah, I know. I sound excited. Stealing Solo needs to be pimped out more. Yeah, it does need to be pimped out more. I'm just trying to... I don't want to... Like I said, though, that's why the book comes out in February, because I don't want to alienate all you guys out there who like the channel. They're both really important to me and successful, and I don't want to take away from one to do the other. Stealing Solo's been great. I can't complain. I'm going to show you guys for those out there who have not seen any of this stuff, I'm going to show you guys a few of the finished pieces of art for the hell of it, because we're talking about Ask Anything. So instead of looking at a black screen, I'll show you a couple things. So if you're out there and you have thought about it, this is the tentative cover. By tentative, I mean I'm going to have the word Stealing Solo is going to be finished in the chromium effect, like the old Star Wars covers, because if you notice, you can do homage covers to comic books. So there are 1,000,001 homages to Amazing Fantasy 15, Batman, Superman, all kinds of stuff. And now McFarlane did an homage to a Superman cover with Spider-Man. Those types of things don't really require, it's, parody. It's protected under parody. So what I'll do is I'm going to have this Harrison Ford. I'm going to have a few things changed. Chromium effect around the word Stealing Solo. Little mini Harrison Ford was trapped in his bubble, his role of Han Solo. He never escaped it. And I'll have a bubble effect, and this will be fully colored. So this is a tentative cover, which I like the cover. A lot of people like the face too. Down the road, who knows? The big one will have a different cover on it. And then well, it doesn't want to load. Thank you, Twitter. There's me in the book. Oh, there's Harrison Ford again. This is just an image that won't appear in the story. This was just something created for it. But because in the story, he's chained up to a chair. And you ain't going to see him running around, help, help. No, his ass is chained in there. there's me, work in progress. We got a couple more things to tweak, but this is the general style of the story. And here is the best one, I think. Again, this is all art by me, colored by a man named Dan Olvera out of Mexico. But yeah, this is our broke dick Han Solo costume. Part of the joke. People are like, his vest is the wrong color. I'm like, guys, the story is not the story is not our own rewrite of Star Wars. This is the framing of it. Harrison Ford's kidnapped and forced to make this. It's his own nightmare. He doesn't want to do this, but this is what the book looks like. The humor lies in the inaccuracy of the suit, the exposed toe, all kinds of stuff. I'm having such a good time working on it, and I know a lot of people are going to love reading it. So if you like humor, if you like comics, and it's not like just straight up like corny humor. I know what I'm doing. Believe me. If you've liked the videos that I've done, you've listened to my writing before and you just didn't realize it. Roken says, what place do you like to take your beloved mother to? Chat, hang out, good food. What's your top spot? Oh, my mom wants to go to the outlet mall. And I'm like, okay, I'll go with you. Because I was going to stay home and work on some stuff, but I got a wrestling show to go to tomorrow. It's an Australian WWE pay-per-view. So guys and I are going to get together, early morning beers, breakfast, and wrestling. And so my mom's like, I'm off, let's do something. I'm like, okay, fine, Mom, we will. I'm glad you like the cover, Buck. The original cover was just going to be the face, but I figured why not go the distance with the parody, the joke? So there's so much in it involved. So why not go for all of it? Jedi Rider says, morning, just woke up because I'm super sick. What's today's topic? Well, Jedi Rider, thank you very much for your super chat. First off, I hope you feel better. Today's James Bond Day, so we covered that. We've talked about the Star Wars multiple directors, Halloween memories where I showed me as Michael Myers, all kinds of stuff. You missed a pretty fun show. What is the blank cover thing, Jeff? The blank cover, Robert, is a literal white blank cover with just the word Stealing Solo in black. What it's meant to do is if you're a fan of comic conventions, you're supposed to take your cover and have an artist do a commission on it, like an Ethan or somebody, and they'll draw whatever you ask for. So you could get a copy of Stealing Solo with the blank cover variant and request, I don't know, Han Solo in a dune buggy or Chewbacca eating a donut or just something like that. It's a popular thing. Plus, I don't know how to do chromium covers and I don't know where to get all that shit from. I don't have the connections. I do have a professional printer that does publish or print books that are, widely circulated. But other than that, I do not have those resources. Maybe down the road, we'll do a chromium edition or some shit. Hey, there's the Salamandroid variant, so why not the chromium Han Solo or something like that? Who knows? But yeah, I'm still on the crapper. That'd be fun. We could do all that stuff. Anyone remember the Clerks comic book about Star Wars collecting in the 90s? Yeah, I have that 9 numbnuts. No, it doesn't ship with a commission. I'm not doing any kind of commissions or drawing like that because that'd take too long. So no, the blank cover is for you guys to take out and just do something fun like that. Oh, I know. It would be funny if Harrison Ford got ripped and read this and was like, "This is great, man. I need to make it." All right, well, give me a call, Harrison Ford. We'll get you involved, my friend. We'll get you involved. But yeah, that's really it. So let's see. It's 9:51. Is there anything you guys want to ask me before I close this out? I don't really have too much else to say. It's Friday. I put out like almost 20 hours of Good Morning Pop Culture this week. Not a complaint. Not really a big problem. Well, no, not 20. More like almost 15 because no day was under 2 hours. One day was extra long. So there's been a lot of news, but we've covered everything this week. We covered Kathleen Kennedy. We covered the Russian bots. We covered the Mandalorian. We covered the Venom mishap, all that stuff. So this has been a big week for world-class bullshitters. Will you get a play out song for like Today? Or for normal? Yeah, I could get a play out song. Well, the only reason I don't is because as I record this, or as I'm live, I'm recording this, and if you listen to it on the streaming service, there's usually an outro song. I need to come with a more consistent one, but there we go. Let's see. Muff Daddy Dollars. My favorite Bond line. I think you got the point. Top 3 Bond themes: View to a Kill, Skyfall, Living Daylights. My favorite bad movie is probably The Room. I genuinely love watching The Room. It's bad, but I love it. Morning, Jeff. Even when we can't catch Good Morning Pop Culture live, we watch the replays. We enjoy the time you spend with all 400 plus of us who enjoy the time. You have your mom. Enjoy the time you're with your mom. There will come a time. Yeah, we're having a good time. I mean, she likes her shopping. That's fine. It'd be nice to get out of the house. Normally, I go right to work on this stuff. The layouts for this comic, while they're not anything to write home about, they're very deliberate. Because the one thing that I'm focused on is there are fight scenes in this. There's a fight scene at the hangar of Harrison Ford, and I wanted to infuse action and excitement into it. I didn't want it to be like, oh, hey, you're kidnapped, haha. No, it's like there's a get off my plane moment. There's just a lot of shit in there. That's all I can say. I'm having a good laugh at that. Yeah, A View to a Kill will get love in this room. Jeff, will you ever make a video on the creative process of making Stealing Solo, like what you went through in making it, etc.? I should do something like that. It'll be like a final 2-week commercial. Maybe I'll try to pump that out for this week. I'll tell you guys this, and I'll say it again. It all came from the podcast as a joke. I mean, I don't know what episode it is. Maybe Kendo can figure it out. But I made the joke, what if we kidnapped Harrison Ford and forced him to remake Star Wars in our basement? And we just had a good laugh. And the joke kept coming back like every month or two. I'm like, man, that's a cool concept. I don't have the money to make a movie, but I have the resources to make a comic book. So that's the first step. That is where it came from. But I'll go a little more into it. Maybe I'll show some more behind the scenes art and talk about my art process and stuff like that. Let's see. Stephen Morgan says, as always, have a fantastic weekend, buddy. The stream was great. Stephen Morgan, thank you so much. Thank you for Batman the Animated Series. As soon as that arrives at the end of the month, we'll do an unboxing and a review because you sent it into the channel. So thank you very much. Can you tell us what the theme of the next video will be? Yeah, the Russian bots. I'm going to talk about that a little more in depth. Let's see. Any chance of an animated DVD of Stealing Solo? You realize it would cost a lot for animation. I'm open to the idea of any of this shit if we can find a way to make it happen financially. I don't have this like huge well of money to throw at it because I'd be like, because if I had like a ton of money to throw at this comic, I probably would have hired let's say I had limited funds. I'd be like, well, let's just get Alex Ross to paint it. I'll do the line work and he can paint it or some shit like that. And people are like, what the fuck? Something crazy, but I don't. So an animation thing would cost a lot of money. The thing is, I don't want it to look cheapy. I'm really worried about, the quality aspect. And if it looks cheapy, I'd be pissed off. So, this comic will come out and we'll spread the word. And hopefully it catches the right people's attention, and then it can go from there. Is SJW Jaws on the list? Social Justice? Yeah, it could be. Maybe down the road I'll do some like a web comic to be featured on the site too, like a monthly, just 1-page joke. It doesn't take me long to draw. It's not the artwork's not hard at all. What's hard is figuring out how to, where to put it, type of thing. Ask EVS. He has a lot of money. I know, right? I don't want a small loan of $1 million from EVS. I think we'll crowdfund our stuff. Scream Factory is almost like the Criterion for the Halloween season. What do you think? Yeah, they've been really pumping out some good quality content. I like it quite a bit. Like I said, I picked up those 2 Halloween movies. I also have Creepshow and Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Garbage Day with the action figure on its way. Thank you, Raider Snoozer. I like your name, by the way. What's my favorite candy? And the rest of the Glass favorite candy. Superfan Adam Shawhan. I don't like candy. I'm one of those people, you could have a big variety of candy in front of me. I probably wouldn't even touch it. I don't know. If I had to eat a piece of candy, and it's not like a health thing or a diet thing, I've never liked candy that much. Sweet tarts are okay. They're pretty good. I do enjoy sweet tarts. I'll ask the other guys. I've never really eaten much candy around them. I know Phil is a diabetic and still eats Snickers and shit. He shouldn't. My mom shouldn't eat candy for her diabetes, but my God, she loves candy. It's not even funny. Jeff, I thought about a sequel to Stealing Solo. Yeah. Like I said, this whole saga, you won't see it coming, but you'll definitely be satisfied with everything. And there may be more. I think instead of a sequel, I've kind of fleshed out this story a little more. So I'm even making less in the back end, but you guys are getting more comic book. Best movie of the 90s. Mine is Goodfellas. Let's see. Oh God, I love Goodfellas. It's a great movie. My favorite's Wayne's World. Seriously, that's my favorite movie of the '90s, entire decade. I mean, there are better made movies like Heat, Goodfellas, all kinds of stuff. But I go with Wayne's World. That is my favorite movie of the '90s. Just got back from the screening room. The screening of The Room. Have you ever seen or ever been to one? I've never been to a screening of The Room. Wait, oh no, I saw the Riff Tracks version. So technically, yes, that was a lot of fun. Samurai Cop, not so much. People really want me to do a Stealing Skywalker book. Baby, the concept has to. The only thing that sucks though is if I did a Luke Skywalker one, I couldn't do a Princess Leia one. I mean, we're gonna do Frank and Leia. That would be, I think it would be funny, but a lot of people would get really upset because she was in Star Wars. They can't like if I did that about any other celebrity, like a Milton Berle zombie comic, people that knew who he was would laugh, like, oh, a concept, haha. But if you did like Frank and Leia, people would get offended like really hard. So, and if you do Luke Skywalker, you can't not do Princess Leia, if you know what I'm saying. My favorite local beer, I'm a Rheingeist guy, so I enjoy those quite a bit. Whatever the strongest Rheingeist is, I like. Superfan Adam Shawhan, you rock, man. Thank you. I really wish I could have Stealing Skywalker or Stealing Solo, something Skywalker and Frank and Leia, the final chapter. Oh, and then we release those in one giant omnibuy. Well, you wouldn't really need an omnibus for what, 120 pages? Just saying. Stealing Vader. Vader's okay, I think. Jeff, Stealing Skywalker is predictable. Stealing Lucas, then. What I have to, you got to read how Stealing Solo goes. I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Isn't it funny that everybody's talking about the sequel before we even see the finished book? Yeah, it is, but it makes me happy because it shows you guys have faith in the comic that you already want more. You will want more. Like I said, the artwork that you've seen, every panel is of the same detail. I don't like to. And now I am doing cool, different stylistic changes, though. I've been reading up on classic comic books. And I don't mean like old 40s books. I'm talking like Wally Wood and how he has a series of 24 panels to make anything interesting. Because first and foremost, this is a story. So you need to be able to talk about the story. Yes, the artwork's great, but have you ever read a comic book where you're like, this makes no sense, this panel's out of place, this, that, and the other? I've made sure to avoid all those problems. Plus, if there's a scene of dialogue, I gave interesting angles. You don't want to just keep looking at people's faces from the front or the side. Sometimes you want to look down. You want to have a guy in the foreground and people in the background, all kinds of stuff like that. There are things that you guys don't think about that I think about for a comic. And because once I get past that initial stage, it's off to the races. I mean, we're talking just a few short hours to do something like this that you're looking at right now. Or the cover, the one that I showed you with him trapped in the action figure card. It took the longest? Formatting the card. Drawing the Harrison Ford picture took 3 or 4 hours prior to that, and then the little guy took 20, maybe 90 minutes to get to ink. My point is, those things aren't the hard part. They're not even hard. It's just those are not the parts that take a lot of thinking. The other stuff does. If you're gonna like the pacing, the timing, the jokes. First, I want this story to be remembered as being well made but funny. And there are a lot of good things in there. Let's see. Liberating Lucas. He's so rich. I think he's okay. Murdering Kathleen Kennedy. I'm going to have to pass on that one because that'll be considered violence towards women. I don't want them to be labeled as anything we're not. How about stealing Ryan Johnson so he can't do any more damage? Can you steal something that nobody wants, though? I'm just saying. Like, can you steal somebody's garbage? Like, and I don't mean like, oh, I put out whatever. I mean, like, just straight up. Like, if I left a bag of garbage in my garbage can, do you think I'm going to get upset that someone went and just took the whole bag, didn't spill it, and didn't cause a mess, just left with it? No, I think I'm not going to be upset. SJW is still on your future list of comics, right? Yeah. You mean social justice? See, I actually had a concept like an anti-SJW comic. That was my original concept, which I actually have laid out. It's only like 9 pages, but it is the whole story. And then I have you know, a character. I don't want to say the names of the characters because it's really, really good, and I don't want someone else to say I heard it here and I took it, because it's a really, I love the concept. I'll tell, I'll work on it one day and you guys will see it. I had this character. I can tell you about the hero. It was called Wingman, and now you're thinking, what is Wingman? It was originally it was a concept. He was going to be like a superhero to help people score, but he dealt with all these crazy like villains. There was like the one-upper, cockblock, all these names. It was like a spoof on the old Batman stuff from the 1960s, and it was a great concept. Originally, it started out as I wanted a superhero with a baby sidekick, because I was drinking and I thought it sounded dumb but hilarious, because I kept talking about it, we kept laughing, and I thought, and then eventually it evolved away from the baby sidekick, and then it moved into other stuff like that. Dayton Pfeiffer, thank you very much. You just sent in a super chat. So there's no message, just thank you, Dayton Pfeiffer. And then let's see. Basil, thank you very much. You want to know what it's like to have rabid SJWs in government? Come to Canada for a couple of weeks. Man, I'm gonna pass on there, Basil. I do want to hang out with you, man, but I don't want to go to Canada. Maybe you could hang out in New York, like upstate New York. Buffalo, man. Axel Foley's from there. Let's see. Wingman sounds awesome. Make it happen. Grand Inquisitor. You know what I just thought of as I was sitting here? You know, it'd be a cool book we could do. I could do like I don't know what to call it. I could call it like the Jeff Hicks Omnibus. I could take every comic, good or bad, depending, not even the quality, doesn't matter. And I could tell you when I drew it, I could put out a book. It would probably be 200 to 400 pages of comics and stuff that I've drawn over the years. I had one with Dustin. I don't know if I should tell you. It's Halloween. I'll tell you about it. It's really messed up, but it ends with a guy. No, I won't tell you. No, I'm not going to say that publicly on air. It ends with him jumping in a meat grinder, and we won't talk about the rest of it. It's the dumb. You know what? I'll leave that story out. Nobody wants to read that one, but I got a lot of crazy other stories that I've worked on. I could do a really weird omnibus of just stuff I've done over the years, like the original version of Anthology, where I drew by hand on paper and then I scanned it in and inked it, and it looks like whatever. But then I redrew it; it looks better now. All kinds of stuff. Rokins, thank you very much for super chat. I've burnt my fair share of shit after 2 days deployment, but burning Ryan Johnson and his script would be my American duty. Well, it's a first draft, so make sure you want to, get rid of it quick. Don't let it get into the next stage. We got people rolling in on the stealing solo. Thank you guys so much. How about stealing Paul Feig, abduct him, and force him to remake Ghostbusters the right way? Maybe. One thing about parody, though, is usually you're in the clear as long as it doesn't defame the person that's being parodied or cause them any financial loss. In the story, Harrison Ford isn't really the he's not the bad guy. He's the victim of circumstance and what's going on. And he comes out very heroic. We'll put it like that. I can't tell you guys the ending or anything like that, but Harrison Ford is definitely, of the 5 or 6 people that are focused on in this story, Harrison Ford is the only one that could be considered the hero of the story. Even I, who am reluctant in the kidnapping of Harrison Ford, even I don't, I'm not perfect. But it seems like people like the idea of my the Jeff Hicks comic book omnibus type of thing. Maybe that'll be the best part about that is I could pump that out by mid next year. And I don't mean like have to do all this art. I could even it could end with Stealing Solo in it. Like, you want a copy of Stealing Solo and Glorious whatever? Well, you got to get the Jeff Hicks omnibus. That'd be kind of fun. No, but I think I have about 5 or 6 things. What I could do is I could take them and have them colored and lettered by my friend Dave. And before you know it, it could be done. Dave could use some money, and I would love to put out more artwork and comics. The next video is going to be on the Russian bots. I got to work on that. We have a friend of the channel who's been giving me all kinds of information about the thesis and all this stuff, as well as the CNET article and a little more about our friend Dr. Morton Bay bug. So that'll be the next single video. That should be out hopefully Monday. Don't hold me to Monday, if not Tuesday. It's definitely coming. But all this breaking news stuff kind of lent itself to more Good Morning Pop culture. And I tried to cover that all in the very beginning. Let's see. We had Stories with Jeff Hicks could be the title. Also, World Class Comics. I do like that. But some of the earlier ones aren't world class. They're kind of bad. But hey, what the hell? Jeff, how about not stealing Justin? Someone pay $2 million to kidnap and remake the sequel trilogy, but no one wants to. That'd be pretty funny. Oh, poor Ryan Johnson. We need to get Subversive Jake to make Ryan the Boat. We need to get everybody in the Fandom Menace, the video people, to do our Ryan the Boatmaker thing, because I really still want to do that. I love Subversive Jake's work. I could never copy his art style. I can't draw like that, but he can, and I think it would be amazing to do more. Tales from the Bullshitters. You know, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe next Halloween, do a 30-page story where each guy comes up with a 5 to 10 page story, preferably 5, and then, you know, I'll do 2 myself, and something like that. I do want to get other people involved from our channel with the comics, but this one is this is an all Jeff Hicks joint right here. Finding Leia says, "Once Carrie Fisher faked her own death as part of a conspiracy." I kind of like that one. But I really do like Frank and Leia too. I know that sounds really mean-spirited, but oh man, tell me that's not funny. Tell me that was not funny. Oh, I know what we could do. We could do Stealing Solo, Zombie, or Frank and Leia, and then the third one would be about Mark Hamill, and he's like, yeah. He willingly comes along. He's like, what about me? I want to make a movie. And like, no one wants to harm him because we like him. So it's just like, come on, guys. He like basically invites himself into the house type of thing. That could be his funny. That could be a funny story. Isn't Bay in full defense mode now, or is bot claims? I got to do more research. That's why I haven't gone too in depth. If you go back and listen to the first day's video, I didn't go too long into it because I knew I wanted to sit down and work on it. I just haven't had the time to write like I want to. Somebody says too soon for Frank and Leia, even though she's been dead for over 2 years. And then somebody else that says love Frank and Leia. Oh, sometimes art's got to rub people the wrong way, man. Not everybody loves Star Wars. Not everybody loves 007. Not everybody loves Lord of the Rings. And I'm in that camp. So I don't even. Frank and Leia would be so bizarre. I do like the conspiracy one, though. That'd be pretty funny, too. She's like, yeah, I faked my own death so I wouldn't have to make Star Wars Episode 9. That's it. That's it right there. Oh, here we go. We could call the story Frank and Leia. So we think we're digging up Carrie Fisher and all this stuff. And, you zap her to life. She comes back. And then the real one's like, yeah, I'm not dead. And we're like, what? She's like, yeah, this was a body double. This was my stunt double from Return of the Jedi. We were out partying that night, and she was in a car wreck, and we just switched the bodies out, and no one would notice. And we're like, oh, so why'd you do it? She's like, I just didn't want to be in any more movies. I was tired of conventions. So I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then the story just kind of ends. She's like, that'll be an add-on to Stealing Soul. It'll be like a 10-page add-on. If I had more, well, I mean, I have the time, but down the road, maybe we'll do a deluxe edition with the added Frank and Leia and meeting Mark story or something like that. Let's see. Beep boop boop. I'm totally a human, not a Russian bot. Beep boop boop. Please donate to the bullshitters, or you'll be assimilated. I like those. Messages from our robotic buddies. Frank and Leia, the triggering of the SJWs. Yeah, that would be. Now, if you put it out right as she had passed away, I get it. But I mean, this would probably wouldn't come out until next year. So that'd be like late 2019, early 2020 release. We'd be gone over 3, going on 4 years. I mean, personally, I'm offended if people make fun of George Washington, but I mean, I can see it. Would missing the mark be too obvious? I don't know. It was Batman the Animated Series. That was a Batman the Animated Series episode. Maybe it wouldn't be too obvious. Who knows? When will I go on another Comicsgate show to promote? This is a movie crowd. You rarely visit the comics crowd, and then only EVS, and you barely talk. Here's the thing. I'm in the Comicsgate chat, but I haven't seen any links to it as of late. So that's why. I've been focusing on our guys, but next time they have one, I don't know. I'm looking at the chat right now. Not too much stuff going on. I'll go. I'll pimp it out the last 17 days hard. We're shooting for a million copies sold. That'd be really bizarre if somebody saw it and was like, yeah, we're going to order this many copies. I'm like, fuck. I mean, cool for me. That'd just be, I couldn't imagine trying to have to ship all those books. I would just be like, hey, make you a deal. If you bought, somebody's like, yeah, I want to order 10,000. Really? Yeah, I don't care. Okay. Well, I'm going to have them shipped to your house, and then I'll fly to you and sign them for you. There we go. That would save myself so much money. Jeff, stealing The Last Jedi. You go around and try to steal copies of The Last Jedi so you can destroy all of them. That'd be fun. Crazy idea for another parody, but comic book, or what, SJW Dracula? Maybe. I'll ask him to shoot me a link. Thank you. I appreciate that, because I do want to go more on Comicsgate stuff. The only thing is I get on there and they're like talking about the drama, and I don't want to interrupt the flow of their show, because I have my own show and I can talk about whatever I want all day. So I don't really want to, get too I don't want people to think, who's this guy? Because I think a lot of people that watch, they're like, who is this guy? I'm like, well, my channel is about the same size as Ethan's. I have the same amount of people that follow me pretty rapidly. Check us out. You'll like us. Frank and Leia sounds cool, but how about Weekend at Carrie's? Damn it. You guys know my love of Weekend at Bernie's. Bernie Lomax is my favorite fictional dead boss. I like that idea quite a bit. Weekend at Carrie's. Let's see. Swinging Cod says, they may have changed the Comic-Gate chat room. Too many people BSing in it. So most left at Ask EVS. Oh, okay. Maybe they did. I don't know. Nick runs our social media, so no, it's active right now. I'm looking at it. I can't obviously tell you what's going on in it because it's a private thing. But no, it's a real thing. I'll try to make it on there tonight. If there's one tonight, I ain't doing shit. But a lot of times Ethan his morning show goes right after mine, and I'm working on the comic of the next video. So being on live would be kind of difficult to do right after. But hey, I like those guys a lot. Jeff could go to people's houses and replace their copy of Last Jedi with a better movie. See, if I wanted to take Stealing Solo into like a super crazy book, that would be the kind of story I would add, where it's like, Stealing Solo is only 20 pages. Now what do I do? I'm going to add this, and it would just be a nice little bonus backup story. Maybe we'll do a deluxe edition down there, but I'm afraid this could be a 64-page comic book. Seriously. It'll be funny. People are like, man, this is way more than I thought for. You paid for 32, you got 64. I'm a man of all. I believe in giving you more than what you expect to get. A pleasant surprise. Jeff can go to other people's house. Yeah, I like Ivan Ortega's edit. Oh man, that'd be pretty good too. I would just have to make sure I don't have the box art for Star Wars: The Last Jedi in the comic. That was one of the problems I originally had with the colorists. They would put like the Last Jedi posters in it. I'm like, dude, you can't put the Last Jedi poster in this comic. Just put or the Force Awakens poster in this comic. Just put VII in Roman numerals. That is not anything they own. The number 8, number 7. Oh my god, people love this Weekend at Carrie shit. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to make it down the road. You're glad the stream is still going. I'm sitting here thinking, Jesus, man, this stream is still going. That's all I can say. It's still going. Maybe we do. The bullshitters travel through time to hang out with Carrie Fisher back in the 80s. That would be a much better story. That way no one can get offended. You made fun of a dead lady. Nah, we went back in time and hung out with her when she was in the Blues Brothers. John Belushi's there, too. It's just a story of us sitting around a table talking about hanging out with the Stones or some shit. Jedi Rider, thank you very much for your super chat. I finally backed Stealing Solo. Can't wait to get it. Well, thank you very much, Jedi Rider. I appreciate you. I appreciate every person who has backed it. All 857 of you. It's exciting. We'll have a lot of fun. I haven't seen the Weekend at Carrie's meme. Let's see. The other shows, I talked to Doug Tenable yesterday. He wants to be on the next comics fence. He made my Earthworm Jib. Oh, okay. I guess I should do a comics fence thing with more people then. Let me give you my schedule. Like I said, I got my Halloween stuff locked in. That's not going to go anywhere. Right now, I would need to appear on other channels. Maybe on a weekend where we don't have a weekend evening before it's too late and we do our Halloween stuff. Do I like the end of Jan Silent Bob Strike Back where you use the... Do it like the end of Jan Silent Bob Strike Back, where you use the profits from stealing Solo to fly around the country, kicking Star Wars asses, shill asses. That would be pretty funny. I could actually buy the rights to that song. Who cares about how many people want to kick some ass? Jeff, you could make your own version of movie posters. Yeah, I got myself covered in that. Believe me, it conveys the idea without using any copyrighted information. Let's see. Dude, if I could go back in time, Carrie Fisher would be great fun. I'm sure she would. I'm sure she would. Hung with Belushi, Pretty Wild Time, just before Neighbors came out. Oh. Damn it. See, I wish I had a famous friend like that. I don't do drugs, and I never will. But I could definitely hang out. I could party with the best of them, Booze has very little effect on me, so it'd be a lot of fun. What if the entire story of Stealing Solo is just a round table of the bullshitters talking about ideas for the story? That would be a funny meta twist, but no, that is not. This is very much the entire comic is a full narrative. It begins December when I watch The Force Awakens, and it ends some other time, and it's kind of crazy. I can't tell you any more than that. Rizzy Toxic Fan Lee, thank you very much for your super chat. X-Men, marry one, kill one, F1. Okay. Kill one. Who am I gonna? I'm gonna go with the women because I'm not gonna bang or marry one of the guys. Wolverine's just too hairy for me, and Gambit, no. I guess if we're gonna bang one, I guess Storm. No, I'd marry Storm, bang Jean Grey, and kill Mystique. Mr. V says, thank you for your super chat, Mr. V. Go back in time to warn Carrie about Disney movies. That could be another concept. That could be. It could be. Go let a time machine in the basement and go back in time to kidnap Carrie. Have I ever drawn the Batman 89 poster? You mean like just the bat symbol? I've drawn the bat logo a lot of times, but normally I draw the big one without the yellow ellipses around it. I love the Batman 89 movie poster, but I don't do color, so that therefore it would just look like the bat logo because the cool effect of it is the airbrushed gold and all that stuff. I think it was Anton First that did it, right? One of those guys. And that's a beautiful poster, but that's why I pay other people to color my stuff. Let's see. I don't like Mystique at all, nor do I ever. Never, even if there's a fire. Todd Fisher, I'm sure, would go on the show. Oh, Todd. Disney. Oh, he's confused, right? Isn't that what Disney said about him? Or Kathleen Kennedy said something like that. I don't remember. The drama this year has been, oh my God. It's been a crazy year. I'm not looking back because it's almost over. I'm just looking back thinking, man, we put out so much content this year. Next year's going to be crazier because we're getting closer to the release of episode 9. Ugh. World Class Bullshit's new title: stealing Solo, jettisoning Johnson, catapulting Kennedy, retiring around Bergman, waterboarding Wendig, castrating Campia, moistening Matt, judging JJ, kicking Kasdan. Ooh, I like all those titles. I do. I like all of them. Man, that'd be years of my life drawing comics about the fucking Last Jedi. People are like, man, let it go. I'm like, dude, the people bought them. They want these stories. When did I first start drawing and writing comics? I started drawing in 2000. Well, I've always drawn my whole life. I've shown that picture of the Power Ranger when I was 5 years old. And I continued to draw, and I got How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way when I was 12, going on 13. And then I used to draw just little panels of Spider-Man doing stuff. I think the first non-anything comic I drew, I used to draw stuff in college for a class I took back in 2009. 2009. That was, I guess, the first time I drew non-superhero stuff. And it was fun. I don't really remember any of it, like what I drew. I knew my teacher was kind of a D-bag, but so most teachers are in arts. My art teacher from high school, Mr. Beeman, was awesome, though. That guy was one of the coolest teachers I've ever had. But since then, I've done lots and lots of stories. I have a really weird comic about hamsters with psychic powers. I have some political intrigue ones about a guy named Senator Joel Hastings. I have comics about... I can't tell you the name of the villain because it's such a good name. And people would go, make that now. And I can't make that right now. That was my original idea, but I thought everybody likes Star Wars. Everyone's pissed off at The Last Jedi. This is a nice beginning to a comics career. By making this joke, it'll get enough people interested. Because like, well, I like Star Wars. I'm pissed off. I love Harrison Ford, blah, blah, blah. So they just kind of get into it. And then they realize, wow, this is a funny story. What else is this guy going to do? And then you get, Adventures of Wingman starring blank in the blank blank, stuff like that. Is the P.O. box going to be set up next week? Yeah, I do need to go. I'm going to go down to the post office and set up a P.O. box, and I will start making that public to everyone out there. So if you want to send stuff to World Class Bullshiters, obviously don't send anything illegal. Don't send anything like dangerous, because that'll just end it right there. It won't even be like, put it like this. It's not like, oh man, everyone's sending great stuff and one guy sent in something stupid. It'll just be like, well, that's it. This could have caused an accident or something. It's over. So yeah, if you guys want to send in cool stuff or joke stuff, like somebody gave Dion a dildo. If you sent one that said for Dion, that shit's not going to get me upset or anything stupid like that. But don't send like bags of powdered sugar as a joke, because I'll just be like, this is done. This is completely done. So just put that out there. I will do a P.O. box. I will do stuff for more fan interaction, but got to be cautious about real world stuff because I don't want to get involved with anything dumb from a troll. How about a parody a la Spaceballs? That's what Stealing Solo is. That's what Stealing Solo is. Jeff, you have an Amazon wish list to support the channel. I don't. I don't really know what we need from Amazon. I mean, I have this. I just bought a microphone a couple months ago, the Blue Yeti. I'm going to upgrade our internet service. Maybe down the road for lighting or some shit like that. That's kind of what I do with the Patreon money, though. I don't really go buy myself anything at all. I just use it to like, okay, guys, we're going to Horror Hound. We need pizza. We need this. We need convention money. That's what I use all the that kind of stuff for. So like we bought a table for Horror Hound Cincinnati in March. And it was $500. Before this year, the channel could never have done that. Thanks to everyone out there, it's possibility all the time. So, we have that convention. And as soon as we hit our big goal, our big monthly goal, we're going to do quarterly conventions through different parts of the country, because with that kind of money, I can say, hey guys, let's get a table with this show in Milwaukee, and we're going to get a room for 4 nights, blah, 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 blah. And we're, going up. Here's travel money, that type of thing. That's the Patreon goal, is to spread the word and do shows and get people to know about that. Does Dion have copies of Seabiscuit or Warhorse? Not yet. Not yet. Superfan Adam Shawhan, I know you won't send junk. I know you personally, man. You're a good dude. So I wasn't talking about you or really anybody that listens to this show, but there are people that are, dumb out there. So I just don't want to ruin it for everybody else. God, more Saving Luke Skywalker stuff. Let's see. All the Star Wars Resistance trailers have more downvotes than likes. I believe it. I know the other one hit 100,000 dislikes. That made me laugh. They did a He-Man reboot in 2002. Yes, they did. I own the action figure. What am I, chopped liver? Gamepad 31. No, you're Gamepad 31. You're not chopped liver. Let's see. What else? I'm trying to figure out what that's in context to. Do a comic surrounding Star Wars Celebration. I should do a comic for Star Wars. Oh, man. If I really needed to make a bunch of money, I could do is I could give out ash can pamphlets of Stealing Solo and be like, all right, you want to get the new one, the real one, you got to go here and have it available. That could be seriously awesome. Man, it's like, yeah, 300,000 people showed up to Star Wars Celebration. 200,000 of them got a pamphlet, and 100,000 of them bought the book. Like, holy shit! Could you imagine that? God, that'd be amazing. Let's see, what's over 140,000? Oh, 140,000 dislikes. Jeez, man, there's so many dislikes. Let's see. Missing his mark, the resurgence of Luke Skywalker. What is an ash can? An ash can edition is like a cheap version of a comic. Let me show you what an ash can is real quick before I go. It's 10:30. I'm just rambling now. Let's see. Ash can comic. So they're just cheap little things like this. They're like cheap little mini comics. They're black and white. They're not colored. They're just put it like this. Anthology, to get it recolored and stuff, it would cost money, which isn't really a problem because I want the story out there. But to get it printed and done all up, like this, that would cost a lot of. That's where the money would come into the the printing. So an ash can would give you the story, and we get the whole effect, but it wouldn't cost as much. That's why I'm able to give it away for essentially free when you support the other one. So it basically bolsters your haul of what you get from us. So here's an ash can comic right here. Would I like vintage Star Wars toys? They're cool. Oh, you mean to send us? Stuff like that surprise us, and we'll give you shout outs and we'll review it on the channel and all that stuff. That will be the fun element. I don't want to know what's coming. It doesn't have to be geek culture stuff. It could be a business card that you want to send us and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not really looking for like, hey, furnish my house. I'm just saying, like, just send us whatever you want to send us as a surprise, as fun stuff. Let's see. Oh, sketch therapy. You don't have to apologize, dude, at all. You don't have to explain anything to us, man. Let's see. When people talk about good times, I love how when they say it was the 90s, man. Jeff, would you like a Mitten Box Legacy Collection Millennium Falcon? Oh, I would like that. Yeah, sure. Then I can sell it. No. I know our friend Trent would like me to give it to him. Trent. Would I ever consider releasing digital versions of comics on Steam or the World Class Bullshitter site? The only reason I didn't do it with this is because I really don't want piracy to run rampant. I want people that got the book to feel like they got something special that's for them. I really don't want people to be like, oh, I bought the book, but, now everyone else gets it for free. Why did I? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want it to take it away from you. So if there's a safer way to do it where it can't be, just slapped up on some shitty website, sure, I could do something like that down the road. Yeah, Alphamar, this is a cheap looking comic. That's why it's a bonus. It's called Ashcan Edition. So imagine you see Stealing Solo, how it looks now. That's the proper book. Anthology would be printed black and white like a Xerox thing for free. But if we reach the final stretch goal, it would be printed and done just like Stealing Solo. So you basically get double that. So that's what Ashcan comics are. It's just a bonus thing. Plus, I wanted to pique your interest into the next story. That's what it is. Jeff, you should do a Carl Manverse comic in the vein of EVS's Rainbow Brute. That could be funny. It could definitely be funny. Collect emails or texting info and distribute Ashcan electronically, virtually free to process. You're going to give it away anyway. Do something like that. Old zines were sweet. Yeah, old zines were sweet. Well, guys, I think 10:30 is a good time to close it out. So I'm going to go do some stuff. So thank you to everyone who joined us every day for Good Morning Pop Culture. It's been a great week. I'd like to thank everyone who's back Stealing Solo. As we've talked, it just keeps going up and up. I mean, we just got another one at 10:19. So if that's you out there listening right now, thank you very much. And if you're on the fence, well, just get on the right side. Join us. It's a lot of fun. You're going to love the story. Did you make this comic? I thought the 1K comic was something you did as a kid. What do you mean? Like the anthology book? Oh, I made it in 2014. So I guess if you would consider 25-year-old Jeff, depending on what part of the year, kid, sure. It was when I was 25 years old. But yeah, I don't know what you're asking. Jeff, why not make a comic about world-class bullshitters superheroes? Maybe. The thing is, though, you guys like us, but I want a lot of people to read these stories. So we're in this comic book, but it's, it's a nice hybrid of if you like Star Wars and you want a parody of that, you got that. If you like us, well, we're in it, so you got that too. So it's not necessarily like just world-class bullshitters, the comic book. I could have made these guys any generic guys and told a similar Harrison Ford story, but why not infuse with our personalities, write like it sounds like we are talking, and make it a little more personal. Oh, the anthology book. No, I wasn't a little kid when I made it. I was 20-something years old. This was my first taste with digital comics. So it's not like a little kiddie book. It's a... Hold on. Is there anything I have of it public or print or out there digitally? Let's see. Go here. No, it is not a little kiddie book. Do I have anything from it? No, I never posted anything. I was intending to sell it and make it an actual comic book and try to take it to places and do stuff like that. But I never, ever did because I didn't have the funding to do anything with it. So I'm glad I do now. Glad I do now. Some of the first versions of Anthology are on the internet somewhere, but I'm glad I redrew them all. God, I wish I had them right now. I'd show you. The twist ending is pretty funny. Hold on. Hold on, let me check a flash drive real quick that's next to me. If it's on this flash drive, I will show you guys a page from the 2014 version of Anthology. So press 1 if you... don't press 1. I'll just show it to you if I can find it. Give me a moment, please. Hopefully this is the right flash drive. Well, you guys got to hear all my sound effects. How adult is the language in Stealing Solo? Not very. I don't think anyone says fuck yet. if they do. The thing is, if it's going to be in there, it's going to be from Harrison Ford himself, because you know that Bruno line. But no, it's not. It's not clean for the sake of clean, if that makes sense. It's just a story that I wanted to tell, and if it has certain things. So let's see. Is this the right flash drive? Art. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. The JPEGs in here? They may be. They may be. Hold on. Let's see. Large icons. Why aren't these loading? The silence is deafening. Where'd it go? Oh my God. Okay. Only one thing will load up, it looks like, but I'll show you. This would have been the hold on, where's it at? Fuck, where'd it go? It was the table of contents page. For some reason, the table of contents page is the only thing that will read from this comic. Can I share like this? If I can share a please let me share it like this. This would be a lot better. No, we'll see. Does this work? No. Oops. Can you see that? No, you cannot. Okay. Let's stop there. Shit. Well, I found it. I'll have to show it to you later, I guess. Oh. Better not be bored. Let's see. We need to go deeper. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, sorry I couldn't get this to work. I found it, though. The one thing would load. I'll post it somewhere. God, the color is terrible. I'm so glad I'm going to rehire somebody to color this. It was fun, though. It's just a nice little bonus. One thing that's crazy about it is you guys will appreciate stealing solo that much more, because a lot better. All right, well, folks, I'll be back on Monday with Good Morning Pop Culture and a video. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you to everyone out there who's helped make this channel grow the way it has. It's been a fantastic year, and it only keeps on getting better. So show us tomorrow morning. Dude, I will be, at this time, I'll be watching a wrestling pay-per-view out of Australia with a beer in one hand and bacon, hopefully a whole bacon sandwich in the other. So nobody wants me to live stream about wrestling. Sorry, nobody want to. All right, guys. Well, have a good one. I'll catch you on the other side. And until then,